Metaphysics is going to have to be the quote-unquote religion of tomorrow. If it isn't, you're fucked. Totally and absolutely.
Yo, can you hear me?
Hello.
There we go. There we go. What's cracking, brother?
Nothing much, man. Hold on here. Let me see. All right. I think I got everything set up correctly on my end.
Yo. Yeah, we are streaming live once again. YouTube here. I'm figuring out this OBS thing. I think I'm going to get a little bit slicker with it here in the near future. But I did make some changes. I figured some things out to make it go a little bit smoother. This thing is powerful, man. It really does a lot. It's like when you don't really know what to do with it, it's easy to get started. It's one of the simplest programs to get started on. But the more you learn, the more you dig. Like this thing, it's no joke, man. Shout out to OBS Studio.
OBS.
Handling their business. So how was the week, my brother?
The week was beautiful, man. There's no complaints. It's just planting trees, cutting off little shoots of banana trees and planting new ones.
Beautiful.
You know.
That's how you roll. I did a lot of yard work this week too. I took a little bit of a break because we had a little bug run through the house. I think my daughter brought something home from the gym. So everybody had a little. It was super quick though. It was like one day, day and a half, and then everybody's got like a little lingering, not 100% vibe, but it was super quick. It was in and out, and we all good now. So, but I'm definitely making some more elderberry syrup tincture for everybody to ingest over the next few days just to get that little immune booster. And the elderberries are just popping off all over the property right now, so we got to take full advantage of it. It's looking real good out here.
I gotta incorporate that in my repertoire. We got no elderberries just yet.
Yeah, I'll hook you up.
What's the turnaround? What's it looking like? What's that? Give me the beginning to end on the elderberry.
Oh, elderberry is very, very fast growing. It'll be, you plant a small cutting, it'll be 10 feet tall in a matter of months. And they flower right at the top because it's mostly bird food. You can't eat them raw, but you can definitely cook them and make syrups and all kind of jams and jellies out of them. They're just not a raw eating berry. But,
if you eat them raw, you're gonna have a bad time.
Oh yeah, won't have a good time. That's for sure. But I think you gotta eat a whole lot of them to really screw yourself. It's like one of those naturally occurring. I'm not sure if it's cyanide. You know how it's cyanide in like apple seeds.
Yeah, arsenic.
Arsenic, that's what it is.
Yeah.
So there's like some type of naturally occurring poison in there. It's perfect for the birds, but we can't eat it raw. But people make a lot of jams and tinctures out of it. So it's definitely one of those high-end, expensive additives. You see elderberry on something, and that just kicked the price up a few percent. So it's no joke. But it grows rampant. Like if you just let it go, it'll grow like crazy, and you just slice a piece off, stick it in the ground, you grow another tree. Very easy to spread and multiply, and powerful medicine, man. So I'm gonna get you a box sent out here in the next couple days, another permaculture starter kit. I got a bunch of stuff that's going right now that you can plant real easy, especially sweet potatoes and mulberries. Perfect time to take mulberry cuttings. Mulberry is one of the toughest plants I've ever had on the property. No, it doesn't take much at all. Like literally clip a piece off, stick it in a pot. It'll be rooted in a few weeks, as long as you don't put it in direct sun, because that'll dry it out too fast. You keep them in the shade, pot it for a few weeks. It'll have nice roots, nice leaves. Stick it in the ground, and that's it. Those things grow like mad. They produce thousands of berries when they're in season. It's absolutely beautiful tree to have in the yard, for sure, for sure. I mean, you're gonna be fighting birds and squirrels for the fruit, but it produces so much you can't be greedy for long because you're like, yeah, I can't eat all this mulberry out.
That's
So
righteous.
yeah, so y'all just have at it. You can get a little bit, but yeah, it's definitely the move. I'm gonna get you a package out here this week. Hopefully, I'll get it out to you. I'll give you a heads up when I do. But and purple sweet potatoes, you can plant those pretty much anywhere you don't mind them running and taking over because they'll it's a ground cover. It'll like creep all over the yard. So maybe like in a back corner somewhere, so it don't get too much in your way. But after about a year or so, you'll have a lot of potatoes underground you can pull up, and it's easy to spread. Also, you can eat the leaves raw or just wait for the potatoes. Well, not raw, but you can eat the leaves like spinach.
How
Or
about the mulberries?
yeah,
What's the arsenic cyanide
nothing.
intake on the?
Nah, we eat
Those
mulberries
are
raw.
okay raw.
Oh yeah,
Okay.
we get bowls full of them. They're gonna dye your fingertips, your mouth, your clothing. Any like the juice in the mulberry is like ink. It's hard to get it off you, but hey, have a weekend. You just go out there and get dirty with your lady, eat a bunch of mulberries. I don't think nobody's gonna complain about having blue fingers after that.
Nah. And when civilization collapses, we'll need ink for books
Right.
to rewrite instructions for humanity. So, a valuable plant.
Absolutely, absolutely. I love mulberries, man. It was one of the earliest trees we got. I think we went to some kind of it was like a food tree conference or something they had in Tampa at the Botanical Gardens. So you kind of walked around. There's a bunch of vendors that had all kind of stuff, and I think that's where we got our first mulberry from. And yeah, just super resilient. I've sold thousands of dollars of mulberry cuttings because they're just so easy. I can go in the yard and cut 50 of them and root them, and out of the 50, 35 to 40 of them are definitely going to root and grow. And a lot of people I found out, especially here in Florida, because I guess because there's so many transplants, a lot of people grew up in states where mulberries, a different type of mulberries, were prevalent. Like in New Jersey, I remember in New Jersey walking home and going to school, there were mulberry trees, and there'd be fruits everywhere, all over the ground. We pick them up and eat them, and all of that. So people, it was like it ticked the nostalgia box for people. They were like, "Oh my God, mulberries!" And I was selling them for like $15, and I'd make freaking hundreds of dollars over the weekend just selling mulberry trees.
Nice.
Yeah. So whenever I get in a mood, I'd be like, you know what? I want some free money. Uh, I go get a bunch of mulberry cuttings. I wait a couple weeks for them to flower and put it on Facebook Marketplace, and people come pouring in, bro. They love mulberries. Fucking great business right there. They get the mulberries, I get the money. Everybody's happy.
Everybody's happy. It's a win-win. It's
Yeah.
beautiful.
Yeah.
Commerce as it should be.
Absolutely. And the way these things produce, I mean, by the time you have it in the ground for a year or two, you're gonna have more mulberries than you can possibly eat. So that $15 you spend is nothing. And I don't think they ship well. It's very rare to find any fresh mulberries anywhere because they're so messy and they get overripe, and people barely can do it with strawberries. So imagine these tiny little mulberries. So they don't really ship well. There's not a whole lot you can do with them other than eating them fresh, really, and making jellies, of course. But if you want them fresh, the best way to get them is just right off the tree, because very unlikely you're going to see them anywhere for sale fresh.
Oh, I've never seen them.
Yeah.
Ever. I've never seen mulberries packaged up and available.
Yeah, it don't happen very often, man. But it's a great fruit. The fruit matures over the years. You know what I'm saying? The first year or two that we had them, I remember them tasting like not bitter, but like it was a tangy kind of flavor, more citric acid you could feel in it. But over the years, they get a lot sweeter. So they grow now. They're just perfectly sweet. I love them. The boys go outside. They gorge themselves on them. The chickens eat whatever falls off the trees. The birds get whatever's highest up in the tree. And everybody is just having a great time getting their bellies filled on mulberries. It's an excellent tree. Excellent tree to have in the repertoire. So I'm going to send you a couple cuttings, 4 or 5 cuttings. I'll send you a bunch of rooted sweet potato, purple Okinawan sweet potatoes, they're called. Great. You can eat them baked. You can chop them up and throw them in the air fryer, eat them like fries or chips. Or, I mean, anything you would do with a regular potato, you can do with these. They're not necessarily like a baked sweet potato kind of vibe. I have those too, the orange ones. But these work better for me like you would treat a normal potato. Like mashing it or chopping it up in some kind of, what do they call it? What do they call it when the white ladies make the stuff all in one dish?
Casserole.
There you go, bang. So you could put them in a casserole. You could make them into fries and stuff like that. But there's definitely some of the best potatoes I've ever had because they got that little sweetness to them.
Yeah, see, I'm gonna have to consult you as I plant them this time because I'm very sad to report the everything that you blessed me with is about a year ago
Yeah.
at the wedding.
Mm-hmm.
The banana tree is the only survivor.
Ain't nothing
So,
wrong with that, man.
so listen, I was dumping banana peels and eggshells and coffee grounds. I was trying to feed everything as much as possible. Um, but yeah, nothing else. Now I don't know if any of those were something that are supposed to grow in the ground, like a potato or something. That might still be in there, and I just haven't noticed the plant flowering on top of it. But otherwise, all that's left, man, is the banana. But I nourish the shit out of the banana.
Oh yeah.
I'm always throwing compost around it, and it looks beautiful, man. And is it? It looks like it's cool to see the leaves unravel,
Oh yeah. Yeah.
and it grows like in this. I gotta say, it looks like the top of somebody's head, like a scalp.
Yeah.
Like that's that what's that the Fibonacci sequence or
Yep.
something?
Yep.
Yeah.
All in there. I love it, dude. The bananas are one of the earliest things we got too, and it took us a while at first. I felt like they weren't growing, and just my timing was off. I didn't know how fast
Yeah.
they would take off, but once they're established, it's really hard to get rid of them, especially if you got enough moisture in the soil. They're amazing to have because they produce so much. Like you said, you see the little babies come up, and you can dig those out and move them down the line. Next thing you know, you got 10, 12 banana trees all producing, and you'll have way more bananas than you know what to do with. That just seems to be the way this whole thing works. The scarcity mechanic was definitely a patch that men built into the simulation because nature's like, you like it, have more. Here's a whole bunch. There's very little of that, and when you set up the land the right way, you got the atmosphere working the way it's supposed to work. You very little scarcity happens. You most likely, more often than not, you end up with more than you know what to do with, and then you got to start giving it away to your neighbors or trying to can it or like figuring out what am I going to do with all of this stuff. Abundance is the mechanism, the issue, quote unquote, that we have to deal with in nature way more than scarcity. It's like, well, how do I use all of this?
Dude, I was looking up because I'm trying to clone the bananas once it starts putting up the little shoots. I think I stole the shoot from the one that was grown on my land. The one that you gave me, I don't think is big enough that I can't take any. There's nothing around it yet that I can use to make another one.
Yeah.
But I was looking at because I want to know what to expect. It said like in maybe about 9 months, it's gonna like what a boat of bananas looks like.
Yeah.
Jesus.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
What do you think about like it's massive. I was like, yo, that's what's gonna that's what'll I'm like, I don't know even what I'm gonna do with all of those bananas.
Yeah, dude, the racks, they get big. Our first
Yeah.
few racks, we're like, oh, this is nice. Oh, cool, we got a few bananas. And then my sons will go outside with the machete and come back with like a 50-pound rack. It's like, what are we going to do? And then they all ripen at the exact same time. They're not going to give you a few days in between, like, oh, the bottom row ripen and then a week later.
Right.
No, all of them. You bring them in the house all green. You wake up the next morning, they're all yellow. And you're like, oh, shit. Banana bread, banana pudding, banana everything, banana
Right.
smoothies.
Banana chips. Yeah.
Yep, yep. And smoothies is one thing I'll tell you right now. One of the best things you can do with them. You'll be very happy if you dig smoothies like that. Peel the bananas.
And you can freeze them too.
Yep. Peel them first though. That's the hack. Peel
Oh
the
yeah, yeah,
bananas.
yeah.
Because we didn't always do that either. We just put them in the freezer. Like maybe if you leave the skin on, it'll help or whatever. Who knows? But trial and error. But you peel them, put them in some big sandwich bags, or even chop them up if you want first. But you put them in the sandwich bags, keep them in the freezer, and then you always got frozen bananas for smoothies. Perfect. Absolutely perfect. And way more than you're going to need, too. My neighbors get bananas a lot. Bananas, eggs, anything that we are overflowing with, the neighbors get first.
Yeah, that's what I love about it is everything I was looking at as far as like how much it's gonna produce. Yeah, there's not a scenario in which you're gonna really be able to realistically consume all of them, unless you got a
Yeah.
family of 15. You got everybody, your extended family and everything living with you. Otherwise, like you have to. Nature forces you to be generous. Like, no, just give some to your neighbors. It's gonna go bad.
Yeah.
You're gonna put it. It's gonna feed back into the soil, one way or another. It's not all for you. You need to accept it.
Yeah, that's it, and that's a beautiful mechanic to accept and process. A lot better than process and scarcity. Like, how can I hoard this so nobody else gets any but me? Versus what if my neighbors are getting some bananas today, whether they want them or not. I'm knocking on your door and I'm like, hey, here's 32 bananas.
And not even because I'm a decent, righteous person.
Right.
Just because for all practical, like it's a practical thing for me to reach out to you and be nice to you.
Yeah.
There's just too many. So anything that forces humanity to move in that direction is undeniably righteous. It's a necessary thing.
Absolutely. I dig it. I completely dig it. It's very practical, very useful. But yeah, I'm gonna hook it up. I'm gonna send you a nice care package, and you can get some stuff planted. We'll definitely link up. Maybe we'll do a permaculture pod, just so we can teach everybody what's going on and what the process is from the beginning to get everything done and installed properly when you first get it. Maybe we'll have like a secret phrase that we say on this show, and if you enter that phrase, if you email me in that, I'll send you a permaculture package too. I'll send you some mulberry cuttings or something like that. Something I got way too much of.
I like that.
Hell yeah, dude. So I think I want to jump right into something here right away because it's probably the least important thing that we're going to talk about today. It's a completely frivolous and absurd topic, but I got so much joy out of it in the past 2 days when I kind of stumbled onto it. I just want to go ahead and bring it up. Let's get it out of the way so we can get to the real shit, the Joe Budden activism and all that good stuff. So first and foremost, when is the last time any of us, have you ever Googled raccoon meat or raccoon recipes or anything? Have you ever Googled any of those phrases?
Not even once.
Well, listen, I was talking about, I don't even know, how did the raccoon, oh, okay. We were watching something, and I think in the thing we were watching, somebody alluded to eating raccoon meat. And my lady was like, yo, there's no way that anybody's actually eating raccoon meat right now. And I was like, wait, first of all, we've seen some crazy parts of Georgia driving through the state. Like, somebody somewhere is catching whatever they can catch. Raccoon, possum, squirrels, birds, like they're eating everything. And in my attempt to prove to her that raccoon meat was a viable source of sustenance for some people, I Googled the phrase raccoon meat. Just to show her some images. The images that I stumbled onto, I'm going to actually start sharing some of this right now. The images that I stumbled onto were a lot different than what I originally thought I would see when I studied the phrase, Googled the phrase raccoon meat. So it's not like people crouching down in the corner and nibbling on
Like
roadkill
Gollum.
bones. Yeah, Gollum and shit. That's not what this is. People are stewing raccoon meat. They got the veggies all over it, and some of this looks downright.
Looks gourmet.
Right. This looks downright delectable. They're not playing with the raccoon meat. They're taking it dead seriously. Some people are taking it less seriously than others. Obviously, you got the hands and the feet still on it, and that's a little shaky. That's a little shaky. If you're gonna cook the raccoon meat, let's at least make it look like a respectable stew. Like, look at this lady right here. This lady is holding up a plate of raccoon meat, and she's got a big old smile on her face. She's in a beautiful kitchen with all kinds of stuff. So I followed that recipe, and then I had to burst into tears and laugh for about 15 minutes. Because as you know, one of the things that people do, especially the higher class people who consider them higher class in society, they change the names of the food that they're eating so they don't have to think about dying animals. So we call chicken poultry, we call pork, pigs pork, and we call cows beef. Raccoon seems to have taken on the title bandit as what they call, it's the euphemism for raccoon meat. So this recipe is how to cook raccoon, a recipe for brined bandit and sweet potato hash. So I love the word bandit for raccoon meat. And you can see this is an extremely informative website. It's got the nice stew recipe for you right here, and I mean, just look. This is serious. It's serious business. Raccoon meat, bro. Why are we not pushing Bandit as a viable meat source?
Oh, we will be. We'll be killing each other in the streets for Brian Bandit. The day is coming. It's Thunderdome for the Bandit spoils.
Listen, nobody's fighting over chicken. We got enough chicken. If
you confuse that for curry goat, nobody would be mad at you.
Nope.
If you confused it for stew, it looks downright gourmet.
It does. And this is, like I said, she's preparing this in a beautiful space. It's not in some kind of outhouse kitchen or something like. Yeah, this is Brined Bandit. Who doesn't want to taste Brined Bandit?
Listen, if the alternative is eating bugs, what's they're saying? Okay, we got to eat fake meat, Beyond Meat, Impossible Burgers, and bugs. That's where the future's going. If you're giving me a choice between cricket protein and Brined Bandit, I'm gonna consider the Bandit first.
Yeah.
Before I eat cicadas.
Especially anything if it's ground, buzzes. If it's chopped and like I don't know if society is ready for like bandit thigh or bandit, ribs or not. Like I don't want to do full cuts of bandit.
No, I don't want to tell what it is.
Right.
But if it looks like pulled pork or stewed chicken, it's some stringy meat. Who knows? As long as we're just to the strings of meat and not the shape, I'm not gonna lie to you. The one with where you could tell it was a raccoon in a bag, it's horrific.
Yeah,
horrific. We've been conditioned to accept. I can see straight up the turkey's asshole and understand every part of it. Like I see the total shape of the bird. Doesn't really mess with me that bad. You put a pig like with the apple in it, that's kind of too much. But a raccoon, I can't see the shape.
Right.
If I see those cute little paws, those furry little adorable paws,
bandit hands.
Yeah. Even if the fur is completely off, those little bandit dick beaters, I can't. If I see it, it's gross. It's grossing me out. It was bad, dude. I know why you don't want it, because you put me on to It's Always Sunny, and you know that meat's chock full of parasites.
Well, it's not even that. It's just the juices made me like eat certain meats. Plus, I'm Caribbean, but I want to knowingly say I don't want to eat it, but at the same time, I do eat Chinese food and KFC.
Oh, you probably already had it. You already had it.
I've probably eaten a couple of things that I'll say
I'll never eat. You've eaten a cat, absolutely.
Pigeon, whatever.
Pretty sure I've had raccoon meat at some point. I'm pretty sure.
Yeah. You can just say you have at this point.
If you had Chinese food in Georgia, you absolutely had raccoon meat.
That's what I'm saying.
I guarantee it.
Chicken from gas stations and Chinese food, I'm pretty sure I've eaten something.
Yeah, man, why not? I said, raccoons seem to be abundant in this country. I don't think they're going anywhere. They reproduce pretty
those guys are savages, bro.
They are.
They go through the garbage can like fucking ninjas, bro.
They are. Crazy. They're bandits.
They're everywhere. Like I've seen them here in Florida, Georgia. Like they're everywhere. I think the only competition they ever have is New York. I think that's the only competition they'll have with the rats.
Yeah, they might get rolled out of New York fucking with them rats, yo. But I think if somebody took it seriously and said, I'm gonna specialize in coon meat, that's what we're gonna sell. We're gonna sell coon meat. I think you could get away with it if you took it seriously and didn't acknowledge everybody's weirdness about raccoon. If you just automatically assume like, no, this is just regular meat like anything else, I think you'd be successful. So the first fast food restaurant that I thought could be successful at selling raccoon meat would be a taco joint, okay? Tacos Banditos. So of course everybody's gonna think that's some kind of reference to Mexican thievery or something like that. It's like, no,
you just gotta grind it up.
What are you talking about? No, it's not nothing to do with Mexicans or thieves. It's a bandito. We're selling. That's the meat that we sell.
Nah, there's got to be a raccoon with a sombrero on. You got
Well,
there's got to be.
I don't know
It's
if I
gotta
want to
be.
put a sombrero on him, but we'll definitely
Commit
make him a
violent
bandit.
acts. Listen,
Yeah.
if it's called Taquitos Banditos, I think you have to. I think you have to. Once you have that Banditos in there, listen, there's a sombrero or a bandolier and
Yeah,
pistols. There's something.
Definitely pistols.
He's an outlaw.
He's an outlaw because he's stealing the tacos.
No, he's pistol whipping other franchises. He's just muscling in on the fast food industry. You just see him pistol whipping a clown, and you know it's a shot at McDonald's.
Dude.
You know it's like, nah, you don't want those other fast food restaurants. We've got the edge. We've got performance enhancing parasites all in this raccoon meat.
Dude,
You can't get this experience anywhere else.
No, and we're gonna brine it nice. It ain't gonna be no more parasites by the time it gets.
You won't be able to tell.
And they'll be factory farmed anyway. They'll be factory farmed. They're not wild caught. They're not wild caught. You don't have to tame them. All you got to do is catch a male and a female and put them in the same cage for a couple days. The nature will take its course.
And just for the record, I got my money on the raccoons. If ever there's not an infrastructure in place for raccoons to survive in New York, but I guarantee you, if it's just humans are extinct and the raccoons need to start traveling north for sustenance and they come across, I got my money on the raccoons. They're a cross between bears and foxes. Raccoons are can be vicious. They're slick. They got the upper hand. They got the upper hand. They're giant rats.
Yeah, absolutely. And they're super smart. They got I don't even think rats can use their hands the way raccoons do. Raccoons
but you guys are forgetting we're talking about New York rats. They got generations of history.
Yeah.
They got a legacy to maintain.
They have a legacy.
That's the real. That's the real gangs in New York right there. The rats.
I'm pretty sure down in the subway there's a rat that's like sunning everybody and just could just talk full English, like just full English New York style, and they all just listen to him.
But not new English though. It's like 1920s, 30s English, like the Italian mafia. He's like, yeah, see, one of those. Yeah, he's just sitting down there fat with a half a cigar in his mouth, giving orders and shit.
What's the haul on the pizza crust?
Yeah,
I'm telling you, bro.
Hell yeah! If a fucking slice of pizza crust get dropped in the park, I want in. I want in on everything. Yeah, I ain't mad at him, dude. I think Taquitos Banditos, it may be one of the best fast food franchises. That's definitely going into the Dangerverse because racist people will assume that it's racist, but it has nothing to do with that. It's bandit meat. And the bandit is, like you said, he's muscling in on the competition, and he wants to steal tacos. He loves the tacos so much, he's got to swipe them.
Right.
Tacos Banditos, bro. We on top of the world over here.
Great name. By the way.
I think you could sell bandit tacos.
You could sell it, bro. You could definitely sell it.
And this is the way you even one up them. How you really just on all of them. You make gourmet options. Yeah, we got the jerk bandito with purple cabbage, and goat cheese.
Oh,
have super delectable, high class gourmet. Yeah, you got the one with the butternut squash and avocado. Yeah, and just garlic aioli or whatever the fuck it's called. You have some super duper unique exotic options, and then you're like, how do you? Do you have a beef option? No, you got to have the full experience.
Bandit.
I don't think you understand. Taquitos Banditos is muscling in on the industry. They're taking over market share. That's why he's a bandit. He's pistol whipping the competition. He's stealing tacos and he's stealing market share. Fuck these cows. They fart into the atmosphere. They're going to kill us. AOC told us so. These cows are going to get us fucking killed. These bandits are the future. You listen, it's that or eat bugs. Bill Gates wants you to eat bugs.
Right.
This is an intermittent, negotiated with the New World Order protein option of the future. You're not telling me we're wasting water and resources harvesting raccoons? And then it's only going to expand. Yeah, it starts with Taquitos Banditos and it moves out to, there's going to be a coon burger joint or something. There's going to be There's
Gotta
gonna
be.
be a burger joint. There's gonna and there's gonna be the Outback Steakhouse. You may call it out.
Burger, bro.
Listen, Outhouse Steakhouse or something. I don't know what you want to, but there's gonna be full on. They're gonna talk about it. They're gonna name it. There's no fucking filet mignon or fucking T-bone and all. People made it up, like you said, poultry, beef, pork. So you start naming the cuts of the raccoon, and you give them all French names. Make that shit sound super high class. It's the foie gras. Oh, that's the name of that cut. Oh shit. It's very juicy and tender. It is aged and chock full of parasites. They will keep you thin and hungry.
Bandit.
See, when you say bandit in French, it's bandit.
Bondi.
Same word, bandit. So you could
Oh,
have
shit.
all kinds of French dishes and just add bandit to the end of it, and you got a whole new set of recipes.
Damn. So is Tacos Banditos gonna be a French themed restaurant?
No.
Like with Maitre D's?
No, that's all Mexican. We're gonna have
Okay.
everything. We're gonna have bandito quesadillas, like everything you can get from a Mexican restaurant, but with bandit meat. And then we'll just branch out. We'll branch out into all different spaces and places that sell different types of food and have different types of cuisine, and we'll just add the word bandit to it, or whatever bandit is in that language. Because I don't think there's a better name for raccoon. Like, if you don't want to come to terms with the idea that you're eating a raccoon, you're never going to find a better word than bandit. Because what was clever to me, what felt good about it was all of these other words remove the animal from your consciousness. Like, the word pork doesn't necessarily make you think about a pig. Like, when they say pork ribs, you're not thinking in your head like, oh, these are pig ribs. Or pork chops. It doesn't do it. Poultry it doesn't necessarily make you think about a chicken. We know that it's chicken, but you don't envision a chicken when you hear the word poultry. Same thing with beef, or at least I don't. But bandit makes me think more about the fact that it's a raccoon, because the raccoon is so identifiable as a bandit because of the little mask, the little steely hands. I love it, dude. There's never going to be a better word for raccoon meat than bandit. I love it. I absolutely love it.
So it looks like raccoon burgers is an exotic thing that hasn't caught on yet, but it exists.
Oh my god. Okay, so let me look that up too. Raccoon burger. Oh man, what a world we live in, bro. I ain't mad at him.
This is the future.
Yeah.
There's people on the other side of the world that eat way worse things.
It's all arbitrary, man. It's like there's no difference between the pets that people keep in their house and the shit they put on the grill. The only difference is human sensibility, and maybe what we measure how well it emotes, feelings and shit like that. Maybe you think a dog or a cat expresses itself more than a cow does. You'd be wrong, really, but maybe I don't know really what it's based on. I don't know why you can totally eat a rabbit, but you can't eat a cat.
It's because there's other options.
No,
like
people eat rabbit all the time. There's other options. You can eat chicken, like the big three.
Yeah.
Chicken,
no,
pork,
I'm just
beef.
saying in general, but I'm just saying in general, like if it comes a time where all this stuff can't be available, like we're definitely gonna be like going deep in the deep end because we gotta survive.
Yeah, pets are gonna start getting snatched.
Yeah.
All that kind of shit. But like right now, it's a moral thing. Like if you go on the internet and you say, I found some stray cats and I grilled them and smoked them and they're delicious, you might get the cops sent to your house. Like, I don't know if it's an arrestable offense.
It's not a might.
Yeah, I don't know if it's an arrestable offense. Like, I don't know if you could but yeah, cruelty to animals, right? But I could be grilling chicken on the same grill and they won't say nothing about that. How is that not cruelty to animals? Like, yeah, it was my own backyard chickens. I didn't buy this from Publix. I caught my rooster. I split him open, emptied his guts out, and I put him on the grill. Okay, that's acceptable. Well, I caught a stray cat.
Dude.
I split him open and emptied his guts out, and I put him on the grill. Now you're wearing handcuffs.
Is it illegal to eat cat? Like, is that a law?
I don't know if it's a law, but you're definitely gonna.
You're going to
They're
jail.
definitely gonna be after you.
You're going to jail.
You're
for
getting
sure.
charges.
You're getting charges.
I don't know if they would arrest you, but I mean, I don't know.
We have to look up if there's laws of what you can and cannot eat. I don't think there's like a law of what you can and cannot eat.
I don't know. Well, but that's what I'm saying. But if they can get you for the preparation of it, maybe not for eating it, but if you caught it and killed it and pulled the skin off it, they'd be like, "Oh, that's cruelty to animals."
It's your religious right.
Oh shit.
Yeah, but there's just we've accepted for thousands of years dogs and cats as basically being domesticated in parts of our family that we haven't assigned.
I've
We
seen a
haven't
couple of
designated
movies.
for food.
I've seen a
But
couple of movies, bro. They're
but
eating
in
the dogs and cats.
no. But in our culture that we grew up with, we've allocated a special kind of love and affection and designated a spot for domesticated dogs and cats that we just don't give to any other animal. I would go so far, and people are heartless enough about chickens. You could probably start a YouTube channel where the way that you process them is like with WWE moves. Like you could just just DDT them and breaking their necks like in all different ways, like off the top rope. Crack.
Fucking Acme inventions and just like roll it down.
Yeah.
I mean, because the way that they do it, there's the big ass blade that just goes down, and there's just a whole bunch of them, and it's at neck level.
Yeah.
I mean, you're basically breaking their neck, taking their neck clean off. I mean, it's a broken neck. So I mean, if you did WWE moves, like you could really, and you could have like the old school pregame with Mean Gene, where you're talking shit to the chicken, like when I get you in the ring, brother. You could do the interview, and then you have the YouTube video where you're grabbing the chickens and you just start slamming them, and you're in a wrestling mask or something like. There's different characters that you could put out. It's horrible to say, but I would
watch
that.
Is a cockfight illegal if you eat them both
Absolutely.
at the end of the fight?
Hold on, check this out.
Yeah,
it's
still illegal.
Check this out. I just got
But
pissed. This shit just made me angry, bro. So the Dog and Cat Meat Trade Prohibition Act of 2018. So
Damn, they just started it.
It's a bipartisan bill outlawing the slaughter and trade of cats and dogs in the United States. It passed House vote, blah blah blah, whatever, and it says unless you're a part of Native American, except as part of Native American religious ceremonies. What the fuck is that about?
That's just some racist bullshit. Since when did they eat dogs and cats?
Probably always, right? It's punishable by a fine of $5,000 unless you're part of a Native American religious ceremony.
Oh.
Previous to that bill, consuming cat meat was legal in 44 states. What is the logic behind outlawing the commercial slaughter and processing of cats for food? Like, what is the logic?
No, I'm
it's
sure it's
stupid
economic.
because they kill these dogs at the shelters if no one's buying them. So I'm like, why not sell them to eat?
Yo. And you know what?
Prisoners need soap.
It's even deeper because a lot of the companies who euthanize the animals, when the animals get euthanized, they sell the dead animal, the animal refuse is called, to companies that make dog and cat food. So they can grind these things up and boil them down into gravy to mix with your dog and cat food. You can sell them to other animals to eat, but humans can't eat it. This shit is goofy. It's goofy as fuck. I don't understand. Like, I have really no, I was not like I wanted to eat cats, but now I'm kind of like, wait a minute, I can't eat cats in America? Why not? That seems kind of
crazy. I understand, like, if certain animals cause disease when you eat them. I eat, bats.
Yeah, but
you mean like pork?
But yeah, but I mean, like, I don't
get disease.
I don't know, bro. I don't know who makes these rules up. I don't know.
Some random shit.
I want to see somebody, doing some activism, just wearing the American flag like as a cape and just going out biting into live cats like Ozzy Osbourne on stage. Just a hardcore cat meat activist. Wait. That's a level of activism that we need that we don't have.
We need that white dude in that video I posted. He had the American flag and the two pillows on his side.
And then again, peep this. Like you said earlier, we've decided that cats and dogs are domesticated, like they're part of our family and shit. If my kid goes out in the street and bites another kid, they won't kill him. But if my dog goes out in the street and bites a kid, they'll kill him.
He's getting shot in the head.
Right. So what are we talking about? How important are these animals really? Make up your mind. Are they members of the family, or are they just meat walking around? I'm leaning more towards meat.
It's meat walking around, bro. It's meat.
Untapped meat.
Some people just go a little deeper than most. I remember seeing a lady got fucked up in a car accident, and I was like, "What happened?" I went to go save my cat. I'm like, "What happened to the cat?" Oh, she ran off. I'm like, I just had to leave after that.
No, I'm good, bro.
Damn. That's horrific. Yo, I'm not running into a burning building for no animal.
No, none.
I will eat the animals left in there that cooked alive. I will not run in to save them. Children, humans, yes. You can risk your life. I don't understand people get an affection or affinity for the animal. It's like, look, it only had like 3 to 5 years left anyway. What are you doing, bitch? Now you don't have a face. What are you doing?
It's not even that. Once you throw them out, they learn quick how to survive.
See?
Yes, they can make it. It's in their DNA to kill shit. They'll find a way. It's all right. They don't need your fucking kibble.
Yo, cats.
This is why they got...
Cats kill more birds than anything. Like, cats are one of the major predators of birds, and it's not even just all stray cats. They found cats who had air-conditioned homes with pillows with their names on them and a bowl of fresh food waiting for them on the floor, would get out of their house and travel 4 miles to go kill birds and then come back home and take a nap.
That's what I'm saying,
murderers,
bro.
That's what I'm saying.
Like little serial killers, like, I'm leading a normal, civilized life. I'll be right back. I have to go kill.
I gotta
go
with
his
kill
fucking instincts, bro. You gotta go with his instincts.
So that's why we should be eating a wider range of animals. You know, these fucking trash pandas are out here wrecking the fucking garbage all the time, dragging the shit all over the neighborhood. How's that not a nuisance? If I did that, I'd get arrested. That'd be an arrestable offense. But if I make tacos out of him, I'm a weirdo, right? Taquitos banditos makes me strange.
I would never look at the Raccoon Whisperer videos ever the same ever again.
Listen, I'm on board with Bandit.
Oh yeah, there's a Raccoon Whisperer. He has like a fucking thousands of raccoons next to him in front of his door. Like, he got them trained.
I wonder how he would feel about tacos banditos.
We should. That's where we should make our first buy.
Yeah.
We should approach him for a good deal. Like, look, you got 1,000 raccoons. Let us get 500.
Yeah, let's get a few.
Let's talk numbers.
And you get 10% off tacos for lifetime discount. He'd be so disgusted. He'd be heartbroken. He'd be like, "You're fucking horrible."
I'm more disgusting. He's living with them. So
Nah. Because he's providing the seed. Because he's providing the seed money, got to get him 0.5% of the revenue every year.
This is a light video too. I've seen like
we'll give him a 20-year stake.
I believe it. You know what? I think he'd be into that. If we told him he could get,
and he's feeding him. Look at that. Look at that meat. That's not even normal sized raccoons.
Yeah, those are hand-fed fat boy raccoons.
He's getting them right for slaughter.
Feeding them hot dogs and shit, bro.
Holy shit.
Let's pump these raccoons. Let's pump this Bandit full of nitrates. Let's get them. Let's get them the ballpark Franks. Let's get them the pulled pork Sammys. Let's do it.
Dude, you know how cheap? You know how cheap we could get bulk spam to feed the feed the raccoons? Just dump a big ass bucket of spam in there with them and let them gorge themselves. They'll be all fat.
And you don't even have to process them. They're gonna sodium content is they're gonna have sodium induced coronaries.
Live
and just
brine?
Be dropping and be already pre-salted. This is such flavorful Bandit meat. It's like, we fed them nothing but beef jerky and ramen noodles.
We fed them
ramen noodles and hot dogs.
No, we need some sugar in there too, so we'll feed them hot dogs and mulberries. Has to be their whole diet, like spam and mulberries. That's their whole diet.
This is the sweetest, saltiest Bandit meat I've ever fucking consumed.
It's umami, babe. I can't even describe the flavor. It's just unbelievable.
It melts in your mouth.
Yeah, it's Bandit. Don't ask any more questions.
No. What? Bandit.
It's French. French bandit.
We get dumbfounded because it sounds different. It's like, we don't really know what it is, but it's bandit. That's how you say it.
Yeah, y'all been to that bandit truck downtown Tampa? Go to Ybor. They got a bandit truck down there. They sell banditos, tacos.
What is that? And you just tell all those hipsters like, oh, it's some exotic African meat bought from a shaman.
Yeah,
you'll love it. You can't get it anywhere else.
After that.
Oh yeah, they'll be like, Susan, I ate African bandi.
It makes your dick hard.
Oh yeah, we're out of stock.
Right.
We're on back order now. We're on back order immediately.
Yo,
Also,
get the raccoon whisperer on the phone immediately.
yeah,
We have to
we
re
got an
up.
offer for you. But check this out. Is it me or is it? Well, would this be like if you have an animal like a raccoon, who's known for being urban trash handler, stealing, and all of this shit, and you elevate that to this high idea
French
of cuisine
gourmet.
and all, isn't that like gentrifying food?
Yeah, that's what they did with lobster.
Wow.
Lobster used to be
Yeah,
fed
you're
to
right.
prisoners.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah, lobster was bottom of the barrel shit for a long time. Yep. They couldn't get people to eat it. So it was the cheapest thing you could get. They was catching it,
Oh.
feeding it to prisoners, bro. And then somewhere along the line, somebody came and ruined the joke and was like, actually, this is amazing. And fucked the prices up for everybody.
Price went up, bro.
We could have been
one
getting a
of-
can of lobster for the same price you get a can of Spam.
One of them fell into some melted butter and it was all over.
Oh, yeah.
I was like, oh shit, this is a game changer.
Oh, shit. Damn, dude. Yeah, I'm
The
I'm,
giant
I'm stuck
roach.
on it. I'm ready for Bandit, bro. I'm ready to fully integrate Bandit into our future. It's like I said, it's installed. Taquitos Banditos. We're gonna make a commercial for it. That's going into the metaverse compendium for sure. We have to.
1000%.
Yeah, it's too good. It's just too good. Just the title alone is enough to make you think about it for a few minutes. Like, wait, what do you? I don't know how I feel about taquitos banditos as a phrase. Should I be upset about this? Should I be triggered, or is somebody gonna get canceled? Like, what are you talking
Oh,
about?
dude,
How
let
does
me
it
ar-
taste?
listen.
How does it taste?
let me listen. This is how I already know we just made $1 billion, because we're partnering with Disney on this. Because guess what fast food restaurant is going to have a partnership with Guardians of the Galaxy 4?
Oh my god.
Yes.
Oh,
You
Rocket
have
Tacos?
Rocket Raccoon. Yes, a limited time. They had the little. We
Wow.
can't. We'll call them bliss meals. I mean, we'll totally steal it. I don't know what we call the kid meals. Euphoria meals. I don't know.
Call them itis meals. Gosh, that's terrible. Rocket Raccoon holding a bandit taco and selling it to children.
Yes, and he's firing guns, and he's giving his little quips, and he's just pumping bandit meat.
And then he jumps into the grinder and tacos come out.
Oh no, it's like, I think this is the end for me, guys. And he just falls into like one of those giant fans in all those futurist movies, and he just all of a sudden it turns cartoony, and then the music gets happy, and just tacos are flying out.
Now there's a little bit
Yeah.
of Rocket Raccoon in every one of us.
Yep.
Yeah? The kids get to take home a piece of Rocket Raccoon in your lower intestine. It's
That
horrible. I know. It's
Fresh. Come taste the fresh, organic, homegrown, handmade, artisanal tacos of Taco Banditos. They're made out of 100% corn-fed bandi, the fanciest meat on the market, taking the world by storm. You just do it. You just sell it. We have the new Jamaican curry jerk with Scotch bonnet peppers. You make it gourmet. You have the Asian flavored with teriyaki. It's got a little teriyaki sauce and those little wonton noodles and some jicama or some shit. I don't know. Whatever fancy chefs use.
Yeah.
And sell them for $15.99 a taco meal.
Yeah.
You get 2 gourmet tacos and a churro made out of something from which we'll never reveal. But you get a churro. And bandi. 2 bandi tacos and a churro.
I love it.
$15.99.
I love it. Bandi au vin. We got the bandit with wine. We'll do that. We'll take all of those French dishes and just add Bandi bourguignon. You like? See, that sounds good already. Bandi soufflé. Love it. Bandi flambé. That's right. We set it
Listen.
on fire when we bring it to your table. You love it. You gotta love it.
You show up at the Italian restaurant. You get some bandi marsala. Just,
Some banditouille.
Bandi Alfredo.
Yeah.
It's coming.
All of it. None of this sounds bad so far. And I know what bandit is. None of this sounds bad. All of it sounds like if somebody came to my table and said, we got some banditouille for you, I'd be like, yeah, that sounds tasty. I'll try it. I know what bandit is. I'm down for that. If you won't eat bandit, but you'll eat chicken and you'll eat pork and rabbit and all of that, you got mental problems. If it's off the table, everything else that's on the table, there's no reason bandit should be off the table. No reason.
Bandit that's been gorging itself on hot dogs and ramen noodles and mulberry deliciousness.
Yeah, finished on mulberries, fattened on spam and ramen, finished on mulberries. You can't tell me that don't sound delectable.
Listen, you don't even have to put this in the fridge for the first 6 months. It will keep. The salt will preserve it. It's natural sodium content. It's off the charts. It basically turns to jerky. Like within a few hours of having its massive coronary, it basically turns to raccoon jerky.
Bandit
That's
jerky,
why
bro?
as soon as they drop, you got to get it. You got to get it in the vat of butter, and let it just be butter soaked bandit meat. That's part of the bandit processing.
Damn, bandit jerky. That I feel like bandit jerky, like in a video game, when you make jerky from different stuff, it gives you different power ups. Like snake jerky might make you have more stealth. I think bandit jerky is one of those things like that gives you special powers. That's not just regular jerky. If you're eating bandit jerky, I think you're gonna have a better time out in the woods. Whatever you're doing out in the woods, you're gonna do better today if you take some bandit jerky with you.
Apparently, it's they have a good source of protein, thiamine, riboflavin, iron, and a very good source of vitamin B12.
See?
Sounds like you can sell this.
We're done here.
Yeah, we're done. We're done for the day. I think we're good. We're good. Bandit tacos, another $1 million franchise idea, and everybody goes home richer. Everybody goes home richer. It's pretty powerful if you ask me. It started as a joke. I just couldn't believe the lady, when I saw brined bandit, I just had to stop for a second and let it breathe. I was like, oh, wait, I got to wrap my head around this one. She called it bandit, and I got to give her some love for that because that's pretty fucking amazing. That's one of the best names I've ever heard for a meat, other than just calling it what it actually is. I've never heard a better name for a meat than calling raccoon bandit. That's fucking beautiful.
I don't know. What are we going to call chipmunks? Because I don't see why they shouldn't be on the meal list.
Poquito bandito?
Rescue meat.
Oh, rescue meat? That sounds terrible. That sounds like you went up into the mountains and dragged dead bodies off the mountain over people
what if we
who
called
died.
it Simon?
Simon. No, I think Theodore. Nobody would be sad about Theodore.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah. Alvin and Simon, hands off. Theodore's like, I guess. Fuck it, kill him.
Theodore was the know-it-all one, right?
Yeah.
No, that was Simon.
Oh, it was? Which one was
Theodore?
the one?
Theodore was the fat one.
Yeah, Theodore was the lovable idiot.
Oh, yeah,
he's definitely going to be...
The fat dummy.
He can go.
Yeah.
He got the most meat.
Undeniably so.
Yeah,
but yeah, chipmunks are on there, squirrels. I don't know what you would call squirrel to obscure what it really is. But yeah, I think that's job one, is to find the meats of the woodland people, whatever people off in the middle of nowhere in the woods are eating. What have they been able to subsist on? How do we bring it to the masses and make it gourmet?
Wow.
And get their numbers up, and then find a way to hide what the meat actually is by coming up with flowery language like bandit. It's all about branding.
I think squirrels and shit might just be too small. It might be not even worth the effort. Yeah, I don't know how much
you grind it up for tacos.
But I don't know how much you could fatten up a squirrel.
Of them. Let's find out. Listen, we've never tried to pump squirrels full of hormones.
That's what I'm saying. We have the technology.
if we just make like peanut butter, human growth hormone smoothies, and just keep them fattened up 24 hours a day.
Squirrel foie gras. Just force feeding squirrels till they get so fucking fat they can't move.
It's a wrap, bro.
And we just have to sell them on a skewer. Just on a skewer, like Chinese people do in Chinatown. Just grill them right on it. Yep, there it is. But bandit first though. Bandit's the highest priority. Bandit's definitely the highest priority. I think it has the most sellability, the most marketability. I think most people, if they're introduced to it under the name Bandit, I think most of them would want to try it. Let's just be honest. Most people are going to want to try it. If you walk up and say you want to try some raccoon meat, They're gonna be like, I don't know. If you want to try tacos banditos, they'll be like, yeah, I'll take
Yeah.
it. I'll take a taco bandit. I'll take one of those.
You want a teriyaki bandi taco? Come on. Yep.
And then after they eat it, they'll be like, oh, that was delicious. Yeah, it's raccoon.
Delicious.
It's raccoon meat, bandit.
Nobody should be disgusted of anything anybody eats that these days.
They shouldn't be, but it's always a virtue signal to pretend like people don't that's one of the things I love most about the place that humans are right now, is people never really not never, but most of the time people just pretend to not get it when you're into things that they're not into. And that's always been weird to me. It's like you really don't understand that. They're like, oh, how could you eat those? Oh, I hate mushrooms. How do you eat? Like, different people like different shit, right?
Yeah, I used to hate mushrooms. The idea of eating mushrooms, and
They're the
bro,
shit.
I don't know. Like ever since I've been eating mushrooms, I put it on my pizza. I eat them like with no problem now. But I used to be disgusted like when I was a little younger.
I used to hate olives when I was a kid. I don't know when it changed that olives became the shit. But there was a point where I'm like, these are the most fucking disgusting things I've ever had.
Yeah, olives grew on me too. I'm still not a big fan of like the pickled olives and all that kind of shit. But in food, I can do it. But I would never. I don't think I'd just sit down and eat olives by themselves. I'm not that far gone yet.
Yeah, I'm more of the olive oil.
Oh yeah, I rock with that. 100%. So who was it actually that introduced this activist Joe Budden energy into the conversation? Who found that glorious tidbit of information?
It was both of us. You posted it, and then I gave you like the picture of the women he was complaining.
Oh, I didn't post it. I didn't see it till y'all posted it.
Oh, somebody posted it, unless it was a Q.
I think it might have been me. I think
okay.
Yakub is guilty. He's once again sowing discord amongst the brethren.
But
no, I thought it was odd that's the most non-win activism I could ever see. Like the signal, listen, I care about equality, I care about equity and proper, representation. And like Jada Pinkett before me, who advocated for the Oscars because the Oscars were too white. You know what else is too white and not black enough? New York strip clubs. I want to see more black queens showing off their snatch for money. That's my activism. That just seemed, I don't know. It was hard for me to, like, is he just trying to, I don't understand. Like, there's got to be something else to it. He can't seriously be saying, I go to the strip club and I don't see enough black women.
That's
More
exactly
black
what he's
women
doing.
should be debasing themselves.
That's exactly what he's doing.
But it's not he's not the first, because black women have been complaining for years about not being video vixens.
No, dark-skinned black women.
Right. Okay, so dark-skinned women in particular.
Yes.
But
Right,
even
but is that why he's showing that photo off? Like, look, I got a big, sexy, dark-skinned chick with me.
Yeah,
I'm real about this
for this weekend.
Right, like she should be stripping and she can't get a job.
Wow.
That's fucked up.
I don't know, bro. Just get out of New York, bro. Atlanta, they're everywhere. They're exploited all over Atlanta.
I don't know if you want to. I don't know, bro. You got to be careful over there. From what
I'm not.
hear.
As far as what?
As far as strippers and shit like that, and then ain't Atlanta like one of the like an AIDS hotbed? Not to mention,
Magic City.
I'm
most
convinced.
of the women have penises. I mean, as far as I know.
I'm convinced this whole country is high on HIV, but they just deny the numbers.
That could be true.
Some of the depravity that I see when I look at these certain websites and the things that's out there, I'm like, there has to be a higher number of some type of disease that's being falsified, because it's ridiculous.
I don't know, bro. But I know
It's
Atlanta
ridiculous.
seems like it's
But they say
problematic shit happening.
I don't say it, but they say that prostitutes and hookers are the most cleanest women there are compared to the other.
Outta here.
Because they get tested regularly. And then you have to have
No,
sex
they
with them with a
fucking
condom.
don't.
Who's
telling that lie?
Listen.
Why would street hookers get tested regularly? That's the most responsible thing happening in their life. They outside taking raw stranger pipes, and then they're gonna get tested regularly.
That's how they have to survive. You don't want no HIV.
That's not how they survive. They survive by having sex for money. That's how they survive.
But the vagina has to be clean. Let's just say it's not on the street level. Let's go to the hotel level. hotel motel levels. I heard they get tested
I'll
regularly.
just when you say vagina has to be clean, we're talking about soap and water, flesh clean, not like fucking bacterial. That's not the clean they're talking about. As long as it doesn't smell like a fish market, they're going in.
A clean pussy can still kill you.
Oh yes,
Yes,
it can
it
still
can.
incubate any number of diseases.
Yes,
Right.
it can. But
Right.
hey, I don't make the rules up. This is
and the people who patronize them are already making terrible decisions. So I can't imagine guys are like, "Can I see your latest tests?"
No.
Like, that's not happening.
If you fuck a hooker raw, I just think you don't care about life. You've given
you're
up.
a brave man. You're a brave man.
No. You've given up. You just don't give a
Right,
fuck.
you're just trying to die.
Like
at this
just the
point.
first level of self-love, self-respect, like self-care, like all the dumb shit I could subject myself to. You know what? I'm gonna fuck this strange, promiscuous bitch completely raw. I need to get the head of my dick in there as much as possible. Please come across this fucking soft gelatinous membrane and give me diseases. Give me life-altering diseases.
I'm gonna put a little funnel in my freaking urethra just to make sure.
Let me get my dick hole wide open.
It's
All
hilarious,
of
bro,
that.
because all the ads would be like, no bear. But I'm like, who's brave enough?
That's what I'm saying.
To
Who's like,
go-
I'm concerned about the dude that's showing up like, look,
I don't have a condom, so let's just go. Like, that's just nuts.
now how about eating? How about eating?
Yeah,
properly?
that too. And that's apparently like a popular thing. So, because I go on the deep end. So,
That's
I
got to
was-
be high price escorts only.
listen, no, I'm telling you, listen. I go on the deep end. So I was looking into massage parlors. So apparently it's a thing where these motherfuckers are not only asking for sex, but they're also asking to get sat on the face, which is disgusting.
Oh, God, dude.
Who the fuck's that? That's not a happy ending for you.
That's bro. I don't know who gets off having a dirty vagina in your face, but apparently it's a fucking thing, bro. And you are the most destructive human being known to man. You're the reason why HIV is out here. Some monkey disease came to humans because you had no morals.
I don't know.
whatsoever.
I think once you're 70, you just do all the drugs you want and fuck raw all the whores that you want. I just think when you have something on the front end of risk, like you still got a good 30 or 40 years of productive life ahead of you, and you're like, nah, I'm gonna cripple my ability. I want my body to start turning on me and breaking down. I have to do this.
Yo, shout out to them though, because they're living the YOLO life. Shout out to them.
Nah, man.
I
That
know.
dude, I will never condone eating prostitute box. The only realm that I could see that happening in is like when I forget who it was, the governor, was it the governor, lieutenant, the Elliot Spitzer dude, and he was, I don't know, he was like I forget what he was, a lead attorney or something, but he got caught with like high price escorts, you know, like the type of chicks dudes are spending thousands of dollars on. That box probably gets eaten. You're in a different circle.
Yeah.
But
that's
if you're
true.
advertising by walking around, that bareback and eating, yeah, that's I want to meet those dudes. If that dude exists, I need the interview. I need to ask questions.
I'll
What is
say it's all wrong. I say all of it is wrong, no matter what level she's functioning at, no matter where she's working at, is whether she's street walking or she's at the top floor of the Trump Tower. I say that just that activity is terrible. In that situation, in that transactional situation, that's a bad way to go, buddy. You paid to be there. You should be sitting down, enjoying yourself. That's not where you go. That's not where you go to prove your value as a partner. That's not where you go unless you want to practice. But even practicing on would that even help you in the real world?
But what's the difference? But what's the difference from a prostitute and a woman, like who chooses not to prostitute?
See, these are the doobie quotes. These are the doobie quotes that go down in history right here. What's the difference between a prostitute and just a woman?
Because in my mind, I feel like these are synonymous. I don't understand how are you making these distinctions.
I'm just saying, there's women who made the decision to sell their bodies and make an income. Some do it on the street, some do it on a high class hotel level, and there's women out there who are just free whores.
Well,
It's
it's because we don't know the maintenance plan. We don't know the maintenance and quality control measures in place on the back end. What I'm saying is when you're with a chick that costs a couple of grand to be with, you know only certain dudes can afford that. So she's getting dick down with responsible dick. It's
most definitely.
responsible dick that's making good decisions on a high level, deciding the fates of companies and nations. This is responsible dick. So the likelihood that you're going to contract something, I think statistically is going to go down. I think statistically, because I don't think you're rolling in circles with that level of money. And like the dude that's paying $5,000 to fuck a bad chick isn't getting the $300 I'll meet you in the Dutch motel deal. They're not getting that. They're not getting that deal. You know what I'm saying? It's just not happening.
That's wild, dude. That's and,
So I
and
think-
he's also the guys who can afford that are probably going to make the absolute most out of it. So you got to think like she's probably getting abused too a little bit. Like that's not regular. Like oh she was just hanging out with her baby daddy for the weekend. Like
That's
I feel
what she
like
signed up for.
yeah this guy's going to mash her out as much as he can. He's going to try to beat the brakes off her. I mean that's kind of what you do when you're paying that much, right? You gotta get as much as you can get out of it, dude. Absolutely
Yeah.
amazing. I
You
love
want
it.
to squeeze out your value. You do.
Yeah.
You want to get your value out of it.
That's why I never understand like how these guys eating y'all out. I'm like I have to interview one of these girls, bro. I have so many questions.
God.
I have so many questions.
That'd be a good interview. I ain't gonna front.
I got so many questions.
That'd be a good interview. Just talk to a prostitute about what. Oh, it's probably gonna break some hearts too, because I had a friend back in the day that I worked with. An acquaintance, but she was super cool, and her name was Cherokee. That's what she called herself anyway. And we worked at this telemarketing place together. And after the telemarketing place shut down, she started. There was a book or like a magazine or something that used to circulate in St. Pete. It was like one of those free local papers. I don't remember the name of it, but you can put ads in the back of it to meet up and shit like that. This was before they cracked down on all of that shit, Craigslist and everything. And she started hooking on the side. And she would tell us about it and laugh at dudes and all the shit and all the money she would get for doing random stuff. And it was definitely super cool to have somebody who we already knew who went into that world. So we already had an established kind of cool relationship with her. So she felt safe enough to tell us everything and laugh about shit. But I don't know how it would be if you meet somebody who's already a hooker. How much you could really listen to and take those stories. You have to take everything with a grain of salt pretty much. But I'd definitely love to hear that interview. I would love it. Because I want to know why these guys are eating the box too.
I want to know who gets pegged the most, black men or white men.
Oh God.
Kind of curious about that too.
Always have to make it racial. It's always racial.
I
Look,
have no
I'm just-
insights. In my brain,
I'm
I'm
a
like,
guy-
I'm playing
I'm
it
a
in my
guy
head,
living
and it's
on
not
Earth.
going either way.
I'm a guy living in Earth, bro.
Yeah, my brain is not leading me left or right on that one. I feel like it's going to be right down the middle. Because
I
as
don't
much
know,
as you want to say white guys,
Right. Your gut does make you want to say white guys.
your
You're
gut,
right.
yeah.
When it comes to gay jokes, it's white guys. On par, bro. On
Right.
par.
But you
On
also have to
par.
think about the homophobia, quote unquote, of the black community, and we always know, like
This is a legitimate question. Who gets
Right.
pegged the most, bro? This is
You
a
gotta
legitimate
know
question.
when there's homophobia, when there's like a deep repulsion to something, it's usually because people haven't come to terms with the fact that it exists in such quantity there. So that's usually where that shit comes from. So I don't know. Like I said, my gut tells me white guys, but I'm not sure. I am not sure. I'm not sure. I'd love to answer that. If anybody listening to this show has any insights on that, it might be some statistics we could look up, maybe. But yeah, man, I'd like to know, or at least Doobie would like to know who's getting pegged more by hookers.
I just like to know because I feel like
Probably Mexicans.
A lot of Americans, a lot of America's problem is hidden homosexual issues that just if you just be yourself, everything would be okay in America. I don't know.
Yeah, I think repressed sexual things all the way around, not even necessarily just homosexuality, just sexual behavior, sexual desire level. Like, If a guy's like, oh, if a guy's out at the club and he's like, man, I got a boner, I want to bang every chick in here. He's like, that's a healthy young male. If a woman's in the club and she's like, I'm moist, I'm gonna need at least 5 pipes tonight. For some reason, she's destroyed, she's broken, she's a horrible person. We don't look at those the same way, and I'm not really sure why, other than the fact that we assume women should be more sexually selective, but that's only when it comes to breeding. Like
That's a lie, though. I think they're more sexually active. But
Well,
I'm
I
not
mean,
doing
I
that.
think it's I think it's informed from our biology, though.
yeah, that's what it is.
You just look at it from like an animalistic perspective. Like, I need to know that this is my offspring, so I can fuck all of these penguins as the walrus of this island, and no one can stop me. But I know no one else can fuck them, so these are all my offspring, because there's that instinct to preserve the genetics. Like, and sex is just an expression of that. So it makes sense that we have these natural double standards and revulsions and roles, because biology demands it. It's
Yeah.
it's silly. It's like we've come to a point where we just want to deny biology. That doesn't
Well,
mean a woman can't be a CEO. It just means, as a woman, there's this biological compulsion or instinct for you to nurture and care for your family. Men were designed to go out and kill and conquer and do that type of shit. So you could be good at operating within that realm and embodying certain characteristics and practices that men have been developing. It's not to say that it's impossible, but when we talk about like our natural biological demands, it's just silly. It's just silly to not think that that plays into the equation of why we have gender roles and how we kind of got comfortable with in viewing characteristics as masculine and feminine. Like, yeah, there's millions of fucking years of data, and we can always look at the animal kingdom. You know, we can always look at that as like a smaller version of shit that we express. Like, these are the same chemicals that express in different species,
Yeah.
but these chemicals express themselves in a certain way. It's all stupid. It's all dumb. You can't take 5 pipes. We don't know whose baby it is. It's bad for the breeding business. It's bad.
And
It's
that's
bad.
only where breeding is concerned, because we've already denied biology, because 90% of the sex that we have today doesn't result in breed.
yeah.
Like, yeah, we've totally circumvented that shit. Like, if you bang your lady and she gets pregnant, it's like, oh fuck, what happened? Like, it's not like, oh yeah, of course we bang raw, you got pregnant. Like, the whole point now is to not get them pregnant, but still keep banging as often as possible.
But you don't think that's evidence of how unnatural the modern life is? Like, modernity is unnatural in every
yeah,
way.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, the whole system that we've built around ourselves is counterproductive, counterintuitive. Like, it works to keep the system going. It's a self-perpetuating machine. The best part about it is that it keeps itself standing, and that's about it. But I think most people would prefer a more down-to-earth, natural way of life. I think most, if they got to experience it, and by natural way of life, I mean not being out grinding and hustling and worrying about bills. Like, I don't think that's a natural way of life. I think there's a way to live somewhere between that and like the mountain men who just kind of chill. They cut wood when they're supposed to cut wood. They make sure they got enough food to get themselves through the winter. Like, there's a knowing and a relationship that exists with nature and the cycles and the seasons. Like, there's a way to exist in that now without being told. I mean, you could probably still have the internet and shit that we like, but without being so tied to the hustle and the grind. That shit, it's absolutely ridiculous, but people love it. People love it because it pays off so much, and it pays off in material shit that doesn't necessarily matter outside of the system. But if you, it's like having in-game currency. In-game currency definitely becomes really important for people. Look at the whatever they are, the V-Bucks from Fortnite and all of that shit. People, that's really important currency, even though it has no real use in the real world, and you can't even sell it to get real money. You can only buy it from the people who make it, and that's how this shit is. That's how
That is the best con, bro, that ever came in the gaming world. And they got it from the cell phone games.
Yeah, absolutely. And it makes perfect sense, and that's what people do. I think one of the most fundamental flaws in human psychology is perception about scarcity being value. Like, if Rolex gave out for free 1 million watches to random people on the street, like anybody, just giving out 1 million Rolexes, that would lower the value of Rolexes. And nothing happened. It's the same watch. It's the same technology. The only thing happened is the perception of the people who paid $100,000 for theirs. They'd be like, oh, well, fuck. Now regular people got them. They're not that valuable anymore. If everybody, if millions of people got Lamborghinis, people who bought Lamborghinis would feel like they lost something. Nothing changed. You still got the car, but it's just not as cool now because so many other people have it. I think that's a deep, deep flaw in how people perceive things. Just if everybody can get it, everybody has it, then it doesn't make any sense. I don't want it anymore.
I had the idea of it's more like that in fashion too, where everybody feels like they're original. I'm like, you're not original if you're wearing Gucci and Prada and all these things. None of that is original. You're not different in any way, shape, or form. Just because you put two different things together that the majority of people don't put together doesn't make you some fashion god. You just decided to do that, and then it's gonna catch on at some point.
Yeah, it's just a weird thing, a weird mechanic. It seems like stuff that is abundant would be more valuable, like, or at least in some kind of way. It's like, so we have all of this fresh water. That's a good thing. Nope, it's only a good thing if you got only a little bit of fresh water left. Now we can charge $20 a bottle.
That fresh water shit too boggles my mind. I'm like, so all this water comes from this source, and y'all been a company for 100 years.
Yeah.
How does that work?
Yeah, dude. It springs. The whole spring thing blew my mind, bro. Like, to know how much water comes out of a spring, dude.
Because they got a water crisis in South Africa, right?
Yeah.
That's so strange to me. I'm like, how is that? Zephyr Hills sells the worst water known to man, and they're throwing this shit out by the bundles.
It says flow from a spring can go up to 30 cubic meters per second, which is about 30,000 liters, 7,900 gallons a second. 7,900 gallons a second can come from one spring. But there's people who don't have water. There's people who can't clean their clothes, can't fucking wash their faces and shit. And a business is sitting on a spring that pumps out 65 million gallons a day in Florida.
Crazy.
65 million gallons a day. And they're like, let's bottle this and sell it. And the government is like, good idea.
Were human beings meant to populate every square inch of the planet? Or were they originally designed to stick close to these points of resources?
Right.
And did we just manufacture this crisis that we have because human beings overstepped their boundaries? We wanted to conquer shit and go out and find everything. It's unnatural.
Maybe that's what dinosaurs was for, to hold us back.
Well, I even think that's what geography is for. When you have like certain mountain ranges and certain food that's indigenous to certain areas, it's almost nature's way of ensuring you stay within a balance of that ecosystem. Like, don't stray from here. You have everything that you need here. There's a natural balance and equilibrium here that ensure there's resources. All of the ingredients for life are here. If you deviate from here and you got to go find an alternative way to survive, you're going to have to cultivate a lifestyle that's unnatural. Human beings aren't supposed to go over there. That's why the climate's like that. That's why the resources are like that. And at some point, human beings are just like, nah, I need that extra shit. And now we're all over the planet. And how do we sustain ourselves? Everything has to be unnatural. The way that we procure food, transport food, how we like everything about this existed. Listen, the Unabomber was right. The Unabomber was 1,000% right that modernity is destined to collapse. There's no way out of it, and the way that we've built civilization and all the things that civilization are dependent upon, it just means we have to keep doing things in a fucked up way, so that we all get what we need, because it's a manufactured existence. And we're under the delusion that we're just gonna always find a way to sustain it. Like, no, it's not unsustainable. It's only unsustainable if we never find alternative ways. Like, well, are we looking for alternative? Not at the moment,
right?
But maybe somebody will at some point.
Their alternative is to just move. Like when you've been growing food on a farm and dumping shit into the soil for 20 years, and now you can't grow nothing. It's like, well, let's just buy a farm in another state. We'll just do that. We'll do it again. Fuck
you
it.
can have her. I'm done with her.
Yeah, exactly. Leave it there and let somebody else deal with it. The crazy part is you can. We were talking about this before, but even in places that are uninhabited now, it's happening in a lot of places all over the world. Regreening, which is if you start doing certain practices on a patch of land, you change the microclimate, you change everything about that land, the soil structure over time, and you can do that, and they'll just grow green spots in the middle of deserts. Or you can just start where the line is and start encroaching, like my property is doing on the street, because the mulch and shit from my property gets collected right at the edge of the street, and then grass grows there, and it's like it looks like my property is trying to swallow up the street. I didn't do it on purpose. It's just what nature does when you give it half a chance. So you could be re-greening, even if you were going into places that didn't look like they were supposed to be habited by humans. With the right practices, you could just be like, all right, I'm gonna make this a lush utopia too in the next 15, 20 years, instead of slapping up factories and shitting oil everywhere. But they seem to like that. It makes so much money, and people are always ready to gobble up the next product. They absolutely love it. And then they ride past a neighborhood with a property that looks like mine, and they're like, this guy's lowering the property value with his fucking banana trees and his peaches and shit. It's like, oh,
Where's
okay.
the concrete?
Right.
Where's
right.
the makeshift caves?
I'm the same way. When I see
This isn't
people
even
like
civilization.
you go down like these HOAs and the fucking like 300, 200, and it's like there's no backyard. I'm like, what are you paying for? Like
They're paying for their cult
This
aesthetic.
monument of concrete. I got
It's
a
like
concrete monument.
An inch of backyard with a trampoline on it. I'm like, that's just so
Yeah.
that is not worth 300,000.
That's the aesthetic of their cult, and I'm happy for them. So if you need to be in the HOA cult, if you thrive on looking out your blinds to see if your neighbor's grass is an inch tall or an inch and a quarter tall, go for it. I promise you, I'm not going to come there with no signs telling you to plant trees or abolish the HOA. Do whatever you need to do. Do whatever you need to do. There's a lot of ways to organize yourself right now, but like you said, Unabomber had some points, bro. And it's crazy that these psychos be having some points, but the cult model is already proving itself to be the future of where humanity needs to go. You need to double down and stop talking shit about your neighbors. Stop leaving it up to chance that the house you buy in a random neighborhood is going to be the place for you to flourish. Be a responsible adult and start a cult. Pool your money together with the people you think are on the same page as you, and organize it however you want. Make it all gay people, or all black people, all Mexican, whatever you think is going to fix your issue. Organize it that way, and let's see how it works out. We should have a cult page where they can report to see how the people in your cult can rate it from the inside, and you get an overall rating to see how well your cult is doing. It's like, what happened, buddy? You got all black gay people, but there's still so much conflict. I wonder why.
Definitely needs to do that. Catholic
Yelp
Church is going to be like the most
Yelp cult
atrocious
reviews.
one.
But you have to be inside the cult to rate it. You can't rate it from outside. Even if you left the cult, you don't get to rate it if you leave it. You got
It's gonna be fake reviews.
I don't know.
Yeah,
Well, if that's how
there's
you
a
want to
chance.
organize your cult, if you want to force everybody to leave fake reviews, that's part of your cult ideology, and I'm not going to stop you.
Well, no, you have to pay a fee to participate as a rating agency to have access to it, and there's audits. There's a centralized governing body. You have to grant us access to people to interview them. We get to, if you don't subject yourself to the audits and inspections, you can't have access to your code, because the integrity of your postings are in question. There has to be,
If
there's
you're
got to be
in
an
the cult,
accountability system.
there's definitely like you can't trust it.
No, but we have to make sure that they're not being like, so when the auditor comes, it's like, yo, we want to interview people. We want to interview anybody we want. And anybody that wants to leave this cult, you leave with us. There'll be a time at the end where, anybody that wants to come with us, you can leave cults.
That didn't work out too well at the Jim Jones ranch.
Listen, the game, your bitch chose me. That's how the cult game goes. So if your cult
chose me.
if your cult isn't meeting the needs of the people, and that's how because what is the biggest accusation against the cult is that it's exploitative and keeping people against their will. And because there's violence and manipulation, you never know, right? And so we say, oh, it's wrong. This cult took this person away from their family. Maybe they hated their fucking family. Maybe they were happier with the cult. Like, you don't know that person was just subject to game. But if you make the argument that, we never know. It's just like if you have a woman that's prostituting herself If she's got a pimp, you don't know if it's against her will or not, right? So you don't know. Like, is this just a sex worker, or is this a person that's a victim of being sex trafficked? You can't be cult trafficked. That's not what the cults of the future stand for. There's got to be a governing mechanism to give people, you know, whether you do it once a year right before racial mania, right? When you go from cult compound to cult compound, you do the audit, and the people that are going to come, they have an opportunity. And they already know which cult they want to go to because they've been reading the Yelp reviews.
Right.
And they believe, like, oh, that sounds like a good game plan. Hey, cult leader, I think we should do it more like this. No, bitch, we're not going to do it like that. Okay, well, I may exercise my right to leave to another cult when the cult Yelp people come to evaluate and audit our compound.
The clerics, we'll call them clerics. Our auditors will be clerics, y'all. They'll be totally versed in all the religious terminologies, all the spiritual ideology, but they're also battle ready. So if we
armed to the teeth.
Yep, we send the
Sounds
clerics
like
out.
Judge Judd.
Yeah, we send but the clerics aren't allowed to make any exit decisions themselves. But when they say, all right, does anybody want to exit with the clerics? This is your time to be like, me, we out of here. And if anybody tries to stop you, hey, it's going to be a problem. So for whatever reason, we barely going to ask any questions. But, you know, like you said, maybe once a year or something like that, or quarterly, we just have the clerics come visit, and they do an audit. They look at everything. They're trained in facial expressions and micro expressions, so they know if you're being held against your will. And then they make a way for you to leave, and they'll protect you as you leave. And we'll have you rehomed in a different cult, or we'll get you debriefed for a little while before you start selecting other cults. But yeah, the clerics will come get you out if shit gets bad.
And because we still want to use the surveillance state for righteousness, all of these exchanges will be uploaded through a live leak feed.
Absolutely.
So you know there's no shenanigans, either on the part of the local cultist who may say, oh, they didn't come to liberate people here. They were kidnapping people. They showed up with guns, and the cleric said, these people are coming with us. But they weren't leaving by their own free will. You know, you never know. Now you got a bunch of murdered clerics with no video evidence. So, yeah, we're not dismantling everything. We're keeping the surveillance state. We're just going to use it in a more proper way. That's more helpful. We don't need to spy on everybody, just on cult auditing and exchanges. That's it. That's when all the people need access to what's going on, to keep the system accountable. That's all. You got to hold the clerics accountable and the local cultists. No shenanigans. This will deter shenaniganisms.
Now, every cleric has his own drone with the camera on it that follows him everywhere he goes. So as soon as he comes to your property, he launches the drone in the air from outside. So as soon as everything from the time he crosses the threshold of your cult property, everything's being live streamed to the cloud. So that way, if the feed goes down before anything happens, we'll know, like, somebody's fucking with the feed, like everything. We got the backups, everything. It'll be, the drone will always be, all the footage will be open for public, what do they call it, public access, or whatever they call it. Anybody can get it. Anybody can log in and watch the feed and see it. Yeah, the cleric will have his own drone, so you can't fuck with him. You can't say nothing happened that didn't happen.
Way better than the democracy we have now. Way better system.
Gosh, dude. Could you imagine if the cops had aerial drones following them around that they couldn't turn off whenever shit gets sticky?
Yep.
Perfect. They need them, actually. Well, yeah, that wouldn't work. And suggesting that might even get you in some trouble these days.
Nah, they have the cameras, but that shit doesn't even work. They turn it off.
It works a little bit, but people.
A little bit, yeah. But when it's like a serious thing, it's always malfunctioning.
Yeah. No, it's just people that are criminals. They'll have, like, just like they have the little anklet. They'll have drones, crime drones. Yeah. So, like, if you're a felon, the moment police are within your vicinity, like, there's a little sensor. It comes out of your anklet and video captures everything. So it's keeping the criminal and the cop honest.
There you go. Super easy.
That way, if the cop is like, I don't want to turn on the body camera, and they got some bullshit excuse, it's all right. The criminal drone is going to protect you. It's going to capture everything. It's going to upload it directly to your Facebook feed.
Crime drones. The criminal drone. Yeah, and are they government sponsored? Like, you can get one for free if you got a jail record?
No. you're not leaving prison without this.
Right, there you go.
It's a full-time forever anklet that launches out the crime drone
There you
for
go.
to capture all police interactions.
Yeah, sometimes somehow that tells me that would work a little bit too well. Because the cops, they get busy, bro. Like I saw a video recently where, did you see the one where the cop was choking somebody or something, and a female cop grabbed him off the guy?
Uh-uh.
I can't look at those videos. I get fucking pissed.
Well, it was a bunch of cops around. One cop starts to grab a guy by the neck, and a female cop, like respectfully, it seems like something you would do to your homie if he was overreacting. She grabbed him by the back of his belt and pulled him off the guy, and then he turned around and grabbed that bitch by the neck and was like, "Are you fucking crazy? Like, don't ever stop me from choking somebody. I'll choke you, bitch." And then after he did that, he had everybody huddle up around him and told him, "Turn your cameras off. Everybody, cameras off." Because he wanted to say something to her, or he wanted to express something like, "If I'm ever doing something bad, don't try to stop me." But he told him to huddle around him, and he said, "Cameras off. Everybody, cameras off." Like, that should be, as far as I'm concerned, that should be enough to get you fired.
Yeah, you should.
If you're telling the officers, for any reason, you telling the officers around you, all of you turn off your cameras right now, that should be automatically fired. I don't give a fuck what you had to say. Fire them. Is there anything that a cop needs to say to a bunch of other cops right this second that doesn't need to be recorded? I can't think of anything.
That doesn't even sound like it makes sense.
Right. I can't think of anything a cop would have to say to a bunch of other cops on duty, but this shouldn't be recorded. No, you're fired.
Yeah, it's indefensible. It's indefensible, but I don't know. I don't have too much sympathy when they show videos, because you never know. That's why you need the crime drone to capture everything. Like, they had that video of that dude fighting in the airport, and the way that they cut the footage and put it out, it looked like the airport dude was harassing the other dude before he knocked him out.
Right.
Have you seen that video?
Yeah.
But then they released the full video, and
Yep.
you see the dude was already hitting him
Yep.
before it even cut on. So all that selective editing is always hard to know. Like, okay, how did it escalate up to this point?
Yeah, that's why I don't like watching them. Like, it's just you never know the true story.
Nah, but they're always put out with an agenda. Like, it's either put out there to make you sympathize with the cop or to sympathize with the criminal, and it's edited accordingly, or it's selectively found out and produced for the public if it helps on either side of that narrative. Like, oh, look, because even what was it? There was the other one with the woman. They said she was pregnant and got shot, and then they released footage where she's like running, like a Heisman Trophy winner, like with the pistol pointed out. It's silly.
Yeah, it's super goofy. But this one that I was talking about, I'll send you a link so you can check it out. And most people,
if he choked the officer, there's no way out of that.
Oh yeah, no, that's
you
right.
Could argue
on,
that. Yeah, there was violence that led up to the thing, and they had to get physical with the suspect for whatever reason. It might be justified force. It might be.
Well, he was in handcuffs.
I'm trying to choke this dude out.
He was in handcuffs being put in the back of the car by two cops, and then the third cop came over to get some extra. Like, he wasn't even involved. He wasn't one of the two cops that was putting him in the car. Some was already subdued, about to be put in the car.
No. Don't misunderstand. I haven't seen it. I'm saying assuming. No, that what you're describing is absolutely. There's no justification.
Yeah, none.
But I'm saying hypothetically, even if there was a justified reason for violence with the suspect, the moment you start choking your fellow officer,
right?
There's no way out of that.
Right.
There's no way out of that. You're such a dummy. Like, what do you think when you say, listen, it's already on the record that I told all of you to shut that shit off. There's nothing you can say at that point that's going to salvage anything.
Right.
There's no strategy you can spitball with your 5 or 6 subordinates that's going to work. You choked this bitch on video camera. There's no way out.
Yep. Turned around. She's pulling him by the belt. He turned around like, "Bitch, is you crazy?" hand right around her neck, and you know how he grabbed her neck and started walking. So she's backing up with his hand around her neck, and he pushes her up against the car. Like, "Don't you ever fucking touch me like that." And what it was Mason. He was getting in the car, and the third cop came and said, "I'm about to mace your ass." And she grabbed him and pulled him off. And then he told everybody to turn their cameras off and shit. And it looked like they did it because there's no more footage of what happened right there. It's like, y'all a bunch of bitches, bro. And that's what I said. Cops are just bad dogs. That's why it was a movie called Lucky Number Slevin, and his name in the movie was Slevin Kalevra, and his name was based on why he wanted revenge on this organized crime people in the town.
Good movie, by the way.
Excellent fucking movie. I love it. Great movie. So at the end, this is not really a spoiler for the story itself, but it's revealed that the word Kalevra, is Hebrew for bad dog. And I think that's an excellent name for cops, because we understand that to the point, if a serial killer has a dog, like in Watchmen, a pedophile serial killer had a bunch of, like, 2 German Shepherds. He trained these German Shepherds to rip little kids apart and chew them up and shit. So they don't give a fuck. They do what their master tells them to do. It doesn't mean the dogs are bad. We don't say the dogs are evil. We just know that they've been trained wrong. They respect their master, and they have no way of knowing that what their master is telling them to do is bad. And instead of demonizing cops, and, like, I really just feel like most of them just ended up being bad dogs. Like, they're taking bad orders from bad people.
They're stressed out people, and then the people around them are corrupt. Like, I don't agree with the whole defunding the police, but I do agree with, like, re-educating all these motherfuckers.
But how can you snitch on them?
Like,
how can anybody in the FBI or in the police department or in any one of these organizations where they know fuckery is going afoot, there's no real sincere protective program in place where anybody could safely out the fuckery. So all you get are people that are with the fuckery.
But that's the problem. Like, even that's like that everywhere. They'll tell you anonymous phone call, and the next thing you know, these people got your freaking name and address, and they're cursing you out. Yeah. But that's why I don't give a fuck. Y'all do something, just don't do it in front of me. But my thing is, like, it's just fuckery, bro. Like, they just need to be re-educated. Stop hiring these, like, ex-military dudes, putting them in neighborhoods they should have no reason to be in at all. Like, a dude who just left, like, the fucking military looking for a job should not be in the fucking south side of the Bronx. Like, that's not for him. Right. Like, he has no idea how these people act, interact. He's not used to the verbiage. Like, they shouldn't be in that area. Like, it all should be you should put people where they need to be put, re-educate people. Like, I think there's checks and balances to it, but
there's no saving Babylon.
They should
There's no saving it.
Yeah, that too, but it's just, I don't know, man.
Even if you partner them, like, we just had an experiment for the last 18 months of what does it look like if you take your hand completely out of those hot spots for violence. They become epically more violent. We've broke all kinds of records. We fucked the 90s up. Yeah. The early 90s were fucking horrible in a lot of spots. Yo, we nuts in the face slam dunked over all of those 90s numbers. Yeah. Like, people are fucking getting murdered at a ridiculous rate. So, okay, if I just see people enacting violence, and to a certain degree violence suppresses that violence, I don't know who else you're going to get to go in there besides an ex-military dude who's like, look, I was doing fucking urban warfare in fucking, Kabul. Like, we're raiding compounds and ducking behind barriers and firing, we're in firefights. Like,
these guys don't have to worry about a fucking landmine coming through a city.
Not yet.
When you're being pissed off.
Yeah, that's real shit, boy.
When you're being pissed off at a dude who's calling you, like, some fucking word that you don't even understand. Like, I don't know, man. It's all bullshit at the end of the day.
But I'm just saying,
even in my profession,
proposal? Yeah.
I don't have a proposal. Like, I just don't like it at all. Like, I'm not a fan of it. Because even in my profession, like, there's people look down on you, and I'm not a fan of it. Like, I don't agree with it. Like, your job is to do this. That other stuff, like, it is what it is. But, like, I don't have a proposal for it at all. But
that's okay.
I will say, like, it's I don't agree with a lot of it.
Well, look, this is why I say I agree with the Unabomber in this regard, in that it's unsalvageable. All of the conveniences that modernity and technology have brought us to get us here, and the way we sustain life here, is created unnatural situations that have brought about the worst possible characteristics out of human beings. We're not meant to exceed our tribal numbers. We're supposed to be in a tribe. We're not supposed to know millions and millions of other people or engage in millions and millions. There's a psychosis and a fucking constant biological response to how unnatural that is. We're constantly on edge because we're never really fully like within the proper framework of how we're supposed to function naturally. So I think that it creates this undue, unnatural stress, and it puts people in this mode where you're in that close of proximity. It absolutely fucking becomes fucking mice utopia. There's no that you can't salvage that. You can't save it. There's no program you can implement. There's no way to make that unnatural lifestyle work. You just can't. You can't make it work, and not just in terms of resources, but in terms of cultivating harmony between human beings living in that dense of a number, in that close of a proximity to one another. That shit is only organized that way for the good of the concrete caves. If we want to fuck nature, we're not living under the confines of nature. We're building monuments to our fucking concrete caves, and we're going to have an unnatural existence, and we're going to amass and organize as many of these fucking people as possible, regardless of the conditions. And it's like humans have been compelled to do that shit. Well, we have this bubonic plague shit. We're living too close and there's rats. Fuck it. We'll burn a lot of bodies, but we'll figure it out. We will never deviate from the program of organizing and fitting us, as many of us as possible, in the closest proximity with all of these unnatural mechanisms for sustaining life under a fucking flag or nation state, name it. We're never going to stop that program. Somebody gave us this fucking agenda. Allegedly Yakub, we don't know. Nobody was there, but it probably was Yakub. And now we're living out that reality of like this unnatural shit that's basically encompassed all of the world, and humanity still hasn't set it down like, okay, we can do shit fast enough now. No, we have to know where more people are at all times. We have to channel every fucking monicum of human energy in this direction. And so if that means we got to pile these motherfuckers 80 feet into the air and have them live on top of each other like roaches in a or wasps in a hive, like, fuck it, we got to do it. But they're going crazy. This is unnatural. Fuck it. Give them SSRIs and television. They'll be fine.
They pay more for sneakers when they're crazy.
That's
something we notice in society. We run all the numbers. The madder they are about their lives, the more they pay for sneakers. That's just science. I didn't make the rules.
That's why I have I don't know, bro. This
whole
metaverse thing.
It's all stupid.
It's all a joke.
No, I think the metaverse might teach us more about reality than we're ready to learn from reality itself. I think people are moving into the metaverse because they want more control over their reality, and they haven't really seen how to exercise and project that control over their three-dimensional reality. So they're just retreating deeper into the circle. But
fine. I'm saying, like, it's just they're just ignoring reality, and then now they're going somewhere else. Like,
right, yeah.
Like, it's not gonna affect the reality. Like the reality of what's really going on will affect where you're going.
It's called a surrogate.
Yep.
That's what he lays out in there. He's like, yo, none of us as humans are fulfilling our human destiny and have any kind of satisfaction at humaning, so we have to have something else to replace it. Like, everything is a surrogate. Everything is for us to engage these gifts and energies in, but to produce something frivolous or to be distracted. And it's because in our actual lives, we're not satisfying that shit that humans need. So he goes into it. It's fucked up because you're like, yo, he blew people up and he obviously was gone because no one has their hair that fucked up. Like, you gave up. Like, you haven't had a cut in a while. He didn't give a fuck. He completely detached from civilization. So you're like, he's kind of a weirdo. And then you read the shit, and thank you, sir. Dude, but you always put me on to some dope shit. Thank you for sending me that link. So you get to the end of it, and you're like, you know what? I know he's a fucking lunatic. I know he didn't do good things. He killed people. But I can't really argue with his assessment. Like, yeah, what you described is pretty much reality. Yeah, you're framing it that way. You're not seeing a lot of the positives in it. But the negatives that you're pointing out, like, yeah, you pretty much can't. Nobody's happy. Nobody has any cultural purpose. Everything's more convenient than ever. But all of those conveniences come at the expense of freedom. Technology and freedom are always at each other's throat. And we'll be like, hey, I don't want autonomy or self-sufficiency. Just make me more dependent on this thing that I couldn't help but read it and be like, and kind of conclude that, this is the exact fucking story of the Bible. Like, this is the story. Like, human beings organizing themselves in a way that defy the natural order of things. No, we'll never die. Fuck it. We'll load our consciousness on a computer if we have to. We will take these baby adrenal clones and dick skins, and we will make creams and purees and tinctures that will sustain us until we're fucking 300 years old. Like, we will not like, humans aren't supposed to be more in tribes of more than 100 or 200. Fuck that. We'll put billions of people organized under the same shit. It's like, listen, humans aren't supposed to live that long. There's just a natural process. Your biological material, you're going to return to the earth. No, get me the children blood. Pump me through it. Get me stem cells. I want to never die. Fuck it. Give me the Narcan. What do you have to do to sustain me and keep me up? Like, it's this absolute defiance to any kind of natural order. Like, fuck it. We're not going to do it. And he talks about, like, that's the, and the justifications. Like, well, scientists are just curious. Scientists just want to improve people's lives. Do they?
Scientists are full of shit.
Are they just curious? So the only thing they really want to figure out is how to make our food more poisonous and our bombs more deadly. So I think we're kind of we're leading scientists in a certain direction. Like, scientists only have grants and funding to solve the problems that powers want them to solve.
But they're all full of shit, because when somebody comes along and say, hey, this idea is wrong, they all get together and say, no, fuck you.
That's dogmatic. It's dogmatic shit. That's what humans do. They do that in every place, not just in all through academia. They do it in science and medicine, everywhere. They've established something that they think is their favorite shit, and anybody who talks sideways about it or looks at it with too much scrutiny gets ostracized and maybe worse, depending on what section you're dealing with. Look at the motherfuckers in the beef industry. They was like trying to get them to talk about telling people, kids and stuff in their marketing to the schools, telling people to eat more grains and more vegetables. And the people who own the beef farms came to the fucking city hall shit and was like, nah, son, we ain't feeling it. It's like, nobody said eat less beef. We just said eat more vegetables. They was like, fuck that. All we want to talk about is more beef. It's like, you don't even care about people literally dying from heart disease. You just care about your profits and your bottom line, and don't shame me for harvesting cow. Like, nobody said that. All we said was, maybe you should eat a little bit more vegetables. And they took that like some Crips and blood shit. It's everybody. It's just a fundamental human trait. This is what they do. And so it exists in science too. Science, this is how they treated people at every stage of science where there was a new discovery. The same thing happened. They got ostracized, they got made fun of, they got shit talked about them. Some of them got shamed into obscurity and died penniless just for 100 years down the line for their idea to be accepted as the right way. This is what humans do. We fuck shit up.
But, that scenario doesn't happen if you've got human groups not living in numbers more than 200, contained by geography and water sources and food sources, and not overstepping their bounds. You don't run into that problem until you introduce the notion of, no, we need to have millions of people integrated and interacting with one another. And the way that they're going to establish their interest is not by any kind of like familial tribal kind of way where all the people you're engaged with. Nah, basically a bunch of strangers are going to try to use soft power with money and financing and laws to kind of fight for whatever their interests are without any fucking regard for you. And you kind of have to play nice with them, but really it's they put their dick on the table. They put their big beefy cow dick on the table and we're like, listen, you're going to suck this and only this. Fuck this vegetable talk. That's bullshit. Fuck those vegetables. And you kind of got to, and this is part of the sick shit about it. Because at the end of the day, they're like, I got kids, I want to feed my family. That tribal instinct is still being like manipulated. Like there's an incentive process to speak to that tribal part of the brain, but it has to it forces us into a very polite savagery. Like it's savage the way that we have to approach it, but we found a way to codify it and legalize it and make it so polite. But really it's like, I gotta fuck you and devour you because you may fuck or devour me. So we're not even talking about supplementing this beef with greens. We're not even talking. That's infringing upon. It may not affect me at all, but because it has the potential to take some money off the table, fuck you, hooray for me. I'm showing up at the meeting and not letting it happen.
Right. And they have influence because of how much property they own, how much money they put into the community. So instead of when the governing body of that place, who has the ability to look and be like, you know what, we probably should tell kids to have a little bit of spinach with their burger, right? Like something. They could just say, well, this motherfucker spends a lot of money at the hardware store, and my nephew owns the hardware store, so I think I'm just going to listen to him. Which is very similar to the shit that was going. Well, one side of the story of the shit that was going down with son who made the fucking killdozer. Right? He was getting played in town. They weren't doing shit fair. They had the pipeline thing where they were going to make him do like 2 miles of pipe to tie into the city water supply or some shit like that. And you drive people crazy so long because you got money in the community, you got power in the community, and people love that whole, that corrupt circle of authoritarian vibe. They love it, especially when you in the inner circle and you get to say, nah, I don't like this guy. So let's hit him with some kind of pollution shit and get him fined, and like let's just keep sapping his money out for like a year, and then next year I'm gonna buy his property at pennies on the dollar because he'll be broke because we've been fining him all year long. He'll have to sell his property as a loss, or he builds a killdozer and fucking runs it through town and try to kill you motherfuckers. But it's a gamble.
That is such an interesting documentary because, like I said before, like nobody denied the corruption. they smoothed it in there nicely too before they made it seem like he's the crazy one. Because like it was like in there quietly, like the government is corrupt. Then they make you meet the brothers who pretty much own the town.
Yep.
And then next thing you know, he's just this crazy guy that just did this for no reason. I'm glad he recorded himself.
Right.
I'm glad he recorded himself.
Because we would have never known. I mean, I still think, well, the good thing, I don't think he really killed anybody, did he? He just wrecked a lot of property.
He wrecked a lot of property, but I think he had the intention of killing people.
I don't know. It's possible.
Because he had a list. He had a list of the things he was going to do.
Yeah, he definitely wrecked a lot of property. He
but
cost
you know
a lot
what?
of people a lot of money.
Bravo to that dude, because any of these fucking mass shooters, they got all these agendas and people they're mad at. They never kill those.
Yeah, that's why, like that dude, I clap to him.
Yeah, fuck everybody that's just going out and spraying up random people that don't got shit to do with your fucking
nothing. Absolutely
shit
nothing.
that you're mad about. If you're mad about all of that shit, you should be, in theory, if you're authentic to it, or if you have any kind of assassin's integrity, you'd be murdering the people that you're upset with, not fucking random people.
Yeah,
not that I'd be encouraging anybody to murder, but that's what I'm saying. There's a moral component to that killdozer shit where it's like, yes, he did some fucking school shooter type violence, right? But he kind of had a reason. There's a righteous rationale behind it. And because, yeah, you fucking exalt your authority over people in an unfair way, some people will just cave to it and like, fuck it, you're corrupt. I don't have no fight in me. Some people are like, well, shit, you're going to take everything from me anyway, so fuck it. Yeah. Have it.
If you're mad at the city,
with you.
If you're mad at the city, destroy the school. Make them, cost them $100 million to rebuild a new school or something like that. In theory. Well, not really a school because that would just be taxpayer money. He was tearing down private businesses because he wanted to cost them guys money. He wanted to wreck their livelihood the way he felt they wrecked his livelihood. Yeah, and there's a one-to-one connection there. He didn't go kill your wife at the grocery store because he's mad that the husband bought. Like, that's stupid. That's psycho shit. I don't think psycho shit is like this guy wrecked my business.
Being destroyed, bro. Like I had no sympathy for those guys.
Yeah, me either.
We need to. This is the mob is always going to be riled up. The problem is the corrupt media tells the people who to be riled up at. There needs to be like a Zagat's type thing, like evaluating businesses and how high on the charts they are for the next time some shit goes down. The next time some shit is burning and there's looting and shit, I think there should be like a moral book, like a Bible of targets. And they're like 5 stars.
Shit. Wow.
5 stars. Like, this shit is really evil. Like, City Hall, if you're going to destroy some shit, it should be City Hall. These are the motherfuckers fucking you up, right? If you're going to go burn some shit down, this would be rated 5 stars for corruption.
Damn.
And you could even put out, and if you live in a place where there's good governance, Maybe it doesn't make the list at all. It's a 0 star. It's a place that's considered untouchable because these people have actually been doing right by civilization. But you're like, yo, so you're still making these shoes with slave labor? You're a 1. You're a 1. You're a 5 star.
Like a reverse
you're a 5-star
ESG.
arsonist. Yes.
Reverse ESG. Yep. Because they bullshitting. They kicked Tesla off, but they got Nike still on there. And I think Nike scores a 17 out of a possible 79. So it's like they're barely even hanging on within the standards of the fucking ESG, but they keep them in there. With
Bro, they're going in on your boy, bro, just because he said he's going Republican.
Yeah, but that shows you how corrupt the shit is.
Yeah.
It's absolutely fucking corrupt.
It's garbage, bro. Absolute garbage. This is how they roll. But this is the new way for the corporations. Just like what is it, Zillow or some shit like that, betting against people or making bids on houses and shit to drive the prices up. And that's what these real estate websites are now actually involved in, manipulating the real estate market.
they own the property, so they end up owning the property now.
Garbage. See, when it's done right, that's called vertical integration. Like, so if I decide to sell T-shirts, and then I buy a T-shirt printing factory, and then I create a factory that makes eco-friendly dyes and inks like the ones that we use on our website, sweetco.art. Go visit and make a cop. But if I decided to make the ink, I decided to buy a factory that makes T-shirts and print all my T-shirts and then sell them. That's vertical integration. That's me making sure I get the best price at every stage of production, all the way down to where the customer puts hands on it. That's smart business. That's how you do it. But when you manipulating prices on the back end and doing shit like, that's just ugly business, because the only people who are getting hurt is the consumer. They don't really even benefit from it other than to screw the consumer later. But this is how business is done here. And we accept it. We look right at them and we go, okay, I guess it's fine.
And we bail them out.
Right. Because we have no other choice. Because we're getting robbed for our tax money every year. It's a stick up. It's a live stick up. They take all your taxes throughout on everything you buy. When you get paid, they tax it all the way till it's gone. They tax it before you get it. They tax it when you take it to the gas station. They tax it when you take it to the grocery store. All the money that's already been taxed, they keep whacking your ass over the head.
I get so angry when I hear like especially when it comes to rappers who like don't pay their taxes, and then I'm sitting here in the back of my mind, I'm like, you take taxes from everything.
Right.
What is it that they're not paying you?
The lump sums. They're not paying the lump sums, and off the money that they get paid for shows and shit like that. So they're not paying in lump sums. But the government don't really care, because they know they're gonna get them for a big. Like, eventually they're gonna knock on your door and be like, you owe us $32 million.
It's crazy, bro.
You know what I'm saying? So now we
keep in mind the CIA has unlimited amount of funds. So how do they have that amount, that option?
Because money's not real. Money is the ghost of value.
Yeah, money is it's an idea.
And for those of you who ask for reparations, if you didn't get your PPP loan out, that was your reparation.
Nah, reparations have been paid. I saw somebody did like a chart, like out of all like the social programs and like all the money dumped into the black community. I think they came up with like something like $17 trillion. It's some like insane amount, like if you count from the 60s, like how much money's been paid in, if you add it up all together.
Oh well, cupboard's empty, Negroes.
No, but we could still do the last idea. But I'm just saying, let's not cut off everything. Let's not be hasty.
I
won't be able to get in it because I'm not an FBA.
Yeah, you're not a foundational black American. You're one of them other black people from a different place, so fuck you.
Yeah, one that killed all the white people and drank from their skulls.
So fuck you, buddy. This is for the people who shaved their slave master's neck with a straight razor and didn't cut his throat. That's for these people who need
dick and cried at night.
This is for the guys who held their wife's hand while the master hit him from the back. Now, this is money for you.
It's for you, nigga.
It's money for you, nigga. I wonder if we could get Booker T to read that speech. If your ancestor, if your great grandfather held your great grandmama's hand while the slave master busted from the back, this money is for you, nigga.
PPP loans.
Oh, that was super problematic way to
Terrible.
wrap up the
Terrible.
show. That was terrible. Absolutely took a terrible turn there at the end.
We're not doing a good job with the African
Man, ain't no such thing as an African American community. Prove me wrong. There's no such thing as a black community. Prove me wrong. Especially if you actually use the definition of the word community. Not a gathering of Negroes in Atlanta. An actual community. An actual living, breathing, functioning community. It ain't Black Hammer. It's not what you think. It doesn't exist. So if you think it exists, just link me to some evidence.
It's all bullshit. Because when you leave the country, it gets even more stupid. In Haiti, instead of like black and white, it's black, white, and light skin. So basically, the people on top are the people who got raped by the slave master. They're the ones who basically.
Hold on. Let me just put a caveat here, especially for Haiti in particular. They may not have been raped by the slave master. During the time that there was a war from Europe, a lot of Polish soldiers got sent to Haiti, and they didn't like what was going on there. They helped the Haitians in their revolution. I don't know how many people know about this, but look it up. Because
my last name is like that. So the town that I tell my father's side, I don't know too much about it, but I have people tell me about it. From the town where my father's from, they all have this same last name, and some Haitians you'll also see that have like Germanic names. Like I have a cousin his name is Carl Hans. So it's KARL-HANS or Z. So like that's all from those people.
See, so the Polish soldiers actually turned against their orders and helped the Haitians stage their revolution, and then they were, expatriated basically because they couldn't go back home. So a lot of Polish people just stayed in Haiti. So there's a long lineage of half Polish, half Haitian people who lived there, and that's not some slave master rape shit. They were allies in the same war because the Polish were low-ranking whites where they came from. So I think some of them just understood what was happening, and they saw what it was, and they took opportunity to do some altruistic shit. So there's a deep, deep connection between Poland and Haiti because of that. So some of those light-skinned people in Haiti might just be from real Polish-Haitian relationships that held over time. And had kids.
But the ones in power are most likely the guys who helped kill the slave masters, saw what was going on and took over the land.
No, you not hearing no black history in America that doesn't end with you having to hate white people. Yeah. That story. Wait. They made love. It just wasn't rape. There was people bonded.
No, son.
They got buck broke.
Tribal and violent.
Son. They got buck broke. That's what that was.
Can't happen. It was buck breaking.
Let's leave that out. Let's get back to eating the Indians. Let's go back to that story.
Long pig. Cook up some long pig, boy. Yeah, man. I definitely
humans are fucked.
Yeah, of course they are. If they don't, it's metaphysics, so we're fucked. This is what we've been saying all this time. And it started off as a joke. It started off as a nice little sound clip. But the more you listen to it and the more you look at what's happening in the world, if it's not evolution on the cellular level, I have no idea what the path away from this impending destruction is, because we have every reason to change direction at any given time. We have every reason to try harder to get off fossil fuels. But the people will shame you for talking about solar power right now. Like, that's how smart these idiots are. The solar power, it's not really, solar is it won't always be sunny. You think there's always going to be fucking earth blood for you to mine out and pump into vehicles, you fucking dummy? But it's stupid. It doesn't make any sense. It's the stupidest thing I've ever heard. And then they act like it's not being suppressed because of the oil industry. Like, people just don't really care about it. It's not really, viable. Why do you think that is? Because they're making too many billions of dollars on oil. So that
doesn't even make any sense to me that solar power is not a good option.
It's not a good option right now because of the rate of transfer. The technology's not there. Like, you'd be kicking yourself in the nuts to spend millions of dollars on solar science to figure out how to make them more efficient. Like, for who's your customer? And most places,
but also,
that you
know
live,
how much it takes to build those solar panels.
For
like oil and resources it doesn't make sense. The yield, what you invest to get it and what you get out of it, is energy deficient at this point.
Right, and that's what I'm saying. If there was real money in it, people would find a way, because a lot of it is made from silicon and shit like that. If there was real money in it, people would find a way to make it more viable to everybody. In the next Well, if in a perfect world, in the next 10 years, you could, and especially in major cities, you could have most people functioning, at least at their houses, functioning at least partially on solar energy. But they don't want to do it because the electric companies, they're like, well, what the fuck am I going to do? Fuck your solar energy. I need to stay a billionaire. That's what this is about, is keeping that hold on people. And if you give people solar energy, that's money you putting back in their pockets, which means you're relieving some of the stress from their daily life. You can't relieve stress from people's daily lives. That's a bad bet. We need you stuck in this cycle of droning and working and stressing about bills. Like, that's where we need you. If you take the power bill off the table, these motherfuckers might actually relax into themselves a little bit more and start thinking a little bit deeper about existence. Nah, fuck that, bro. I need you locked into this cycle. That's what most of this is based on. And I don't know what's going to change people's direction. I don't know what's going to change their energy and alignment about this. I don't know
Fuck
what...
zombies.
Fuck zombies. I don't know what makes a human. I don't know what makes a human want to just change and want to be different, especially when they have access. Like regular poor people who are struggling, I get why you want a different existence, but find me a billionaire who's like, I wonder how I could get power cheaper to the consumer. That thought has never crossed their mind. They're wondering how much they can charge you before you get mad. They want to know how to squeeze every penny out of you.
But this is the system that the priests have created. This
Right.
is the way human beings have been led in channeling their energy. And this is and so that it almost like there doesn't need to be a grand fucking conspiracy or the Illuminati for thousands and thousands of years watching and influencing the shit. You just have to give humans these tools and test their character.
Yep.
That's all you got to do. And the human beings, the direction that we've gone, like it really, and he gets into that a lot too, of how humiliating and dehumanizing all of this is. If you really think about it, people throw that term around like sheep and cattle and but if you really think about it, like, yeah, humans have to be managed in that way. Like you represent a cog of energy. I think you brought that up last week, Doobie, where you were talking about when they asked the people for a king. And Samuel was like, look, I'll give you a king, but you're going to have to kill people for this dude. Like, he's going to need soldiers. He's going to need bakers. He's going to need security. He's going to need farmers. Like, you're basically ensuring your sons and daughters live to serve the needs of this enterprise. Like, this blueprint is on the earth. If you believe in God or whatever, some spiritual notion, there's some spiritual force that was in the equation that was speaking up saying, listen, this is a bad way to organize human beings. This almost guarantees that we'll be in this exploitative trap where now we're no longer organizing ourselves to benefit our lives. Our lives are expendable for the sake of the organization. Like, we're all just cogs in this machine, in this enterprise, and it's just going to keep going. And it doesn't matter if you try, like, you can't, it encapsulates everything. It encompasses everything. There's no square inch of land that doesn't have a legal deed to it. There's no human being that's investing energy that's not harnessed in some way. Like when we've been able to do more, it's like, no, we're not just into materialism. Like, we're mining resources out of the ground and fashioning idols and trinkets and out of all this shit. Look at all the cool shit we can do by not staying in our station and in harmony. Just look what we can do when we rape and exploit shit. Like, look at this fancy, witty inventions and shit that we can come up with. Cool. Well, what's the number one thing we're coming up with? How to kill people more efficiently. And let me tell you why this is the best shit to have our fucking priests thinking about. Because we can go and fuck up other people and take their shit, and this is how we're gonna, and this is like the blueprint that's out there, and we've just found ways to do it more civilized, but it's in trade. But if you look like, okay, we may not have to invade you and kill you, but how can I fuck you up? What if I devalue your currency? What if I put tariffs on your shit? What if I do that? And it's humans do it. Like, this is an expansion of all of these things that, if you read the Bible literally, it tells you, like, these are like almost scourges or witchcraft or sciences. It's some shit that's been injected in humanity that makes human beings focus on the material goods and worshiping them like they're the shit. Like, listen, anytime God is punishing people, he's saying, like, if you look at that last shit in Revelation, where he's talking about like the fall of Babylon. And it's like, yo, all of this shit, all your spices, all your ships, it's listing goods. Like, this is all this, like, the shit that human beings have been able to cultivate, harness, and commodify and create, like, this phony existence that's not bound by any of the rules of nature. Like, we're like, nah, we will fucking, this shit ain't gonna grow here, we'll just splice some genes. Like, word, you're gonna be born with that disease, yo, we're just gonna splice some genes in you. You know, you want to plant some shit, we've got the patent on it. What's a patent? Some shit we did with some magic. We wrote some words down, they became reality. Now we own this genetic sequence. We better not catch it growing on your yard, or we'll send people with guns. Oh, we figured this shit out too. We can make little iron nuggets go at warp speed into you and just kill you instantly. We've been doing this for thousands of years. We've been putting our brains together. Have we figured out how to just get along and feed everyone? Nah, fuck that. Nah, I don't think you understand what we have here. I don't think you understand. Like, I get to live a really extraordinary existence. Do you know how many hand jobs I get? Because I live in this really fancy concrete monument and you don't. And I wear a silly hat, a big silly hat, because I know about days. You don't know about days because you working out in the fields and raising horses and doing all this. Yeah, but me, I got these dudes here. They've been watching the sun. They've been writing some numbers down. We're playing around with shit. I can tell you when the sun's going to blot out. Bring me some fruits. Bring me some fruits and grains and shit. What are you going to do? I'm just going to sit here and tell everybody what to do and get hand jobs. Like, this is a great situation. And I want it to where my descendants can always get as many hand jobs as they want to. And if I got to, like, take over every government, if I got to, like, run child trafficking and drug businesses, do it, listen, I'll do whatever I got to do. But my descendants are going to be fanned and given hand jobs till the end of time. Because we figured this shit out. We figured out how to manipulate all of this. I can sing a song or throw up a flag or show you certain colors, and all you motherfuckers will run with it. I figured it out. I figured it out. This is how you organize humans.
They trust the system enough to know that even if their lineage fucks up and drops the ball, whoever picks up the ball is just going to keep running it. They're not going to pick up the ball and be like, all right, let's throw away this getting fanned and hand job shit. They're going to be like, nope, my turn. And so this is how everybody is clamoring for that position and to organize it so they can experience it whatever way they want to or whatever way they can afford to. Nobody's really trying to change anything because that seems to be the ideal way to exist as a human, is prima nocta and fresh fruits delivered to your door. Who doesn't want that, right? So that's the only way you get it. You don't get it by being a nice guy. We've already figured that out. You don't get it by being a beta cuck. So we got to do what we got to do to get access to that lifestyle. Nothing else changes but metaphysics, unless we get pedophile brain slugs that want to take residence in your mind and change the world that way with what was it? With performance enhancing predators for the
performance enhancing parasites.
Performance enhancing parasites that come thin everybody out, get you all nice and sexy for the brain slugs, and then the brain slugs come and fix everybody's problem. So
yeah, because on their planet, the age of consent is 350. So they come here, and right, and we're just all, we're all jailbait to them.
Yeah.
So we think
we're the youngest species in the solar system.
We think they're helping us, but we're really just satisfying their perversions. And in exchange, they've enhanced humanity to do the right thing without fail. That's the trade-off. If we just let these aliens be pedophiles, humans will be able to behave correctly.
They're taking our freedom away.
Right.
But if you're not conscious of it, you won't know.
The underground resistance are going to be a bunch of fat, sloppy warmongers living underground like, no, you ain't going to take my freedom. Everybody on top side, everybody top side is in perfect shape. There's no more war, no more disease, no more smog in the air. And we just have pedophile brain slugs in our head. It's like, this is
that's how Time Cop was. Was it Time Cop? What was the Sylvester Stallone movie?
Oh, no, it was Demolition Man.
Demolition Man, yeah. Everything was nice. Nobody was cursing. You had the 3 shells to clean your ass.
And they're like, nah, we got to get it back to regular. We got to fix this world. How do you have an underground resistance when there's no more crime? What are you resisting?
That's what is wrong?
Nobody's died of heart disease in 100 years. What are you resisting?
Nah, we're going to eat rats down here. Fuck them. We
But they're
got Bandi.
pedophiles.
You want some Bandi tacos?
But those brain slugs are pedophiles. Not really though. I mean, their species has been around 10 million years, and ours has been around barely a million. We've been on this planet. So as humans, we're young, supple flesh that they can wiggle around inside of. They love it.
Right, but Thomas, do you know why your skin has that sheen? Do you know why you look so moist? That's alien semen. It's listen, it's filled with antioxidants. You're gonna live a lot longer.
Right.
You're gonna age much better. But when they're oozing all that ooze into you, like, yes, it's nourishing your body. Yes, it's detoxifying your liver. Yes, it's giving you huge horse genitals. Yes, it's doing all of those things. It's a performance enhancing parasite, but it is getting off. Yeah. It is super. The reason you're getting so much of this high performance juice that's surging through you is because the brain slug is that turned on that you're that supple and young.
Yeah. They fixed all our evolutionary problems. Every human, we all have the same penis size and vagina depth. Everybody's the same now. So there's no more, like, everything has been fixed. They fixed every single problem you could think that humans would cast on each other to create discord. And they fixed it all just so they could to live in your mind in a constant orgasmic state.
Even to the point that they're controlling how we're breeding, making sure there's a perfect ratio of men to women. Right. So that nobody is without anybody. Right. You can leave your kids with any babysitter. You can apply for any job you want. You can go to sleep under the knife for the doctor and have no fears because you know that everybody is guaranteed to do the right thing.
Perfected.
By the gracious influence of the pedophile parasite.
I feel like
there's no more actual pedophiles. There's no more actual pedophiles on Earth.
Only the cosmic pedophiles in our brains, the brain slugs, the intergalactic travelers, that with their own space pedophilia. But it's different. There's no more human pedophilia on Earth. I'm fine. Whatever ecstasy state that they're in, as they surge their slime juices into my head, as they suck at my brain, if it makes the world a perfect place, that's the most righteous way that people could surrender their will to it.
Right.
If it's the government with guns forcing you to do it, it's different. But if it's a brain slug and it's all coming from within, and wouldn't you rather have do you really want to trust your own ability to say no to fuckery?
Nope.
Do you really want to trust yourself to never help yourself to the money bag?
Nope.
Never do the wrong thing? Nah, you're gonna fuck up. It's only a matter of time. And if you speak that righteous shit, you're probably going to fuck up the fastest because you're always putting it out there that you're not fucking up, which means you're more scared to fuck up. So you're going to fuck up, not with the brain slug, not with the performance-enhancing parasites. Put the pep in your step today.
This is just one of the only ways that I could ever figure out a path to humans actually changing outside of, I just don't know what is going to do it. I think it would have to be some type of planet-wide wild-ass event. I don't think they're just going to take it upon themselves to switch rails at this point. So bring on the brain slugs. Unless somebody else has got a better idea. I'm definitely open for options. I'm not completely married to the pedo brain slug. I just think something that extreme has to be on the menu to change the trajectory that human behavior's put us on so far. But I'm open to be proven wrong.
There has to be a council of aliens who sit at a round table and solve problems, and then at one point we come to the equation and we can't listen to y'all.
No, because if there were, they would have wiped this shit already. They would have wiped it already. They would have been like, we got to get these motherfuckers out of the galaxy.
But that's why they left.
That's irresponsible. They just leave us here with nuclear weapons and spaceships.
They probably thought we were gonna die within a couple of years.
Listen, all you want to do is fuck and murder. We can't. We're out. We're out. We thought we could take some of the genetic material here and shape it with this conscious thing, and what you guys have done with it is very offensive. Yeah, I could see that. I could see them just fleeing.
They created a perfect being, and we killed them.
And ate them.
We're out of here.
Yeah, we're done.
They probably thought we were gonna die within like 30 to 50 years, bro, and not understanding like how we're able to still survive. I'm telling you.
Yeah, the
Oh,
aliens
no,
were
no.
here using the humans to farm and shit. Like they were like, we're gonna build you guys a perfect utopia that you can exist in for thousands of years, and you won't never need to do anything. And then they came back a few days later, and all the alien overlords were dead, and the humans are covered in blood and wearing the alien carcass bones and shit
Wait,
like that.
wait. Blood and semen.
Right, of course, of course. And they were like, "What the fuck did y'all do? Like, you're not gonna rule us." Like, yeah, but we were building you a utopia. Fuck you. We want our freedom. It was like, we out. Leave these motherfuckers here, bro. Leave them here.
No. Rape him before he leaves.
They'll figure it out. Fuck it. Just leave them here, bro. That's how we
No,
got
maybe-
octopuses.
Maybe that's why those dudes in Sodom and Gomorrah wanted to rape the angels so bad. Like they had told stories, like they fled. Like, we thought all you motherfuckers have left.
Right.
We haven't had a chance to rape one of you for hundreds of years.
I'm
Yeah,
telling you.
We've
bro.
only heard stories.
Get your ass
They all,
back out
they
here.
all got destroyed in the flood.
Yeah, I guess. Yeah, it's a lot. There's so much inefficient behavior. Shit's just bad, bro. We need something. We need some kind of compassion fungus, pedo brain slugs. We need something. Fuck zombies. I don't know what it's gonna be.
Listen, I got a real good one, real quick before we go. So here's a scenario on another planet, and it's like a planet, it's a planet like ruled by feminine energy and feminism. It's the opposite. If like patriarchy was Superman from another planet, like this would be like the Kryptonia or whatever, the opposite planet, the dark side or Bizarre or whatever, right? It's the antithesis. And so what it is there's one alien life force that it's a dick. It's a dude attached to a dick. And what they do is every time they hate that dude, like this is how they farm men on the planet. They cut that dude's dick off. And so that dude is forced to be on a planet full of women with no dick. And now the dick grows another human being attached to it.
Oh shit.
So they only have one dick on the whole planet. The dick itself is the life form, but every time one of the women on this planet gets sick of the dude, they cut his dick off. And so he's forced to live out his days. Right. Like, I'm going to grow another one of you. Like, I'm harvesting you. So while he had the dick, it was the shit. I'm fucking every bitch on this planet. I'm the only dick here. And one day he pisses the wrong one off, poof, cut his dick off. And he doesn't know. And then he gets exiled out to the woods with a whole bunch of other dudes with no dicks. Like, they got you too.
Well, that makes me want to be with the one person, so I don't fuck anything up. That's crazy.
Nah, you always gonna piss them off. There's nothing you can do. You're not gonna please all these women. There's somebody's gonna saw you off that dick and just roll the dice and see what grows next. It's gotta happen.
Right. At some point, they're gonna get sick of you.
Right.
At some point, they're gonna get sick. And if they have the power and they have the numbers, that dick's getting cut off.
Oh yeah, quick, because you told the same joke one too many times.
Dude,
like, you know what? I'm sick of this motherfucker.
It explains dick worship, phallic worship throughout the, like what they were. This was a religion from a whole nother planet. This was like on Dicktopia, just the one dick, and it's the life form, and he's the walrus. The dick is the walrus, and he just like a banana tree. He grows other humans. Every time they cut him off, they harvest a human, and what a fucked up scenario. You're on a planet of the sexiest, horniest women, and you got to use your dick while you were the dick fruit. But as soon as you got cut off from it, you walking around as a dickless dude, and you got to see the other dude with the dick fucking the whole planet like you used to, but you can't. But just what a fucked up existence.
Damn.
That
sounds like a pretty bleak graphic novel.
Hella depressed.
But listen, if you told the right story and marketed that to women, they would love that. That would be like the feminist fucking Bible. Yeah, like, yo, this is men are just ancillary.
Yeah. They
can cut them off. They rule. They're in charge. And they will chop a dick off and grow another one of you if you don't act right.
Wow. Yeah, that's definitely a feminist graphic novel. That's making me nervous. My stomach hurts a little bit right now. I don't like how that's making me feel. Well, fuck. I mean, at least we ended today with something powerful for the feminists to process. I think they'll dig that idea. They might take it and run with it. All we're gonna say is do the right thing and send us a check when you cash in those millions. Don't make us have to invoice you. Do the right thing. Do the right thing. We ain't gonna be mad. We ain't gonna send you no cease and desist. We just gonna expect you to do what's right and bless us up with part of your graphic novel. Saw the man off the dick graphic novel fortune that I'm sure you're gonna fucking build.
Oh, and every year or so, maybe that's it. It goes on for a year, and then they have this ceremony, the ripening, and the dude's like, "What?" It's like the ripening, and it's just one last hurrah where they have like this orgy, all the baddest bitches of the village, and he's sucked and fucked out of his mind. He's not even conscious, and then bam, they harvest him. Oh my God. It's the ripening. He's done. He's ripe. We're gonna pick him off the dick tree.
Damn. And then he just goes into the wilderness with all the other eunuchs.
Right, because you couldn't have eunuchs around, otherwise the new dude that grew is gonna know what's up.
Yeah, it'd be like The Village. That's the twist at the end.
Right.
Like a Shyamalan movie.
We got the next M. Night Shyamalan movie.
That's the twist. Wait, they've been doing this shit for hundreds of years.
Oh, shit.
Where the fuck did all you guys come from? As soon as you get dropped off, you wake up outside the fences of the property, and it's just a bunch of eunuchs standing around you like, yep, you thought you were special, huh? And
yeah, we all did.
Damn, dude. How long has this been going on? I was the first. Oh, they take you to see the oldest eunuch in the village and shit. This is fucking terrible, bro.
It's horrible.
Terrible.
They got little cave
Doobie don't like
paintings.
this shit at all. Dude's like, nah, I don't like this shit, bro.
My masculinity can't take it.
Listen, they're keeping their heritage and their folklore. Like there's cave paintings telling the story, like from the first dick cutting, the first ripening ceremony. Like, and there's a mystic dude, and they're forced to like work in the salt mines or some shit. I don't know. Like and the women ship out whatever product they have to mine. Like they're super dope entrepreneurs. Like they're like one of the most profitable planets in whatever galactic federation there is. Like and they're pumping out shit with basically dickless slave labor.
Wow.
They become the exploiters. They become just as bad. And so that's the way that they're even more fucked up. They're just harvesting humans. And they're basically praying mantis style, like dickless human laborers. Like, you don't got a dick, you got nothing else to do. The most productive slave is one without a dick. We figured this out. That's why we run the most profitable banking and salt mining company in the universe.
Terrible.
They're a Fortune 500. They all wear pantsuits. They're power brokers.
Absolutely horrible. Absolutely horrible. This is the Amazonian snoo tribe, and they fucking
on a different level.
Yeah, just on a whole different level.
More violent, more
industrious, and they do have a use for men. They just make sure they're all eunuch workers outside the gates to keep everything on the inside. You know, that's where the special shit is. Outside, you just work and peek through the holes in the fence and wish you were the holder of the penis. Like, that guy's happy. It's like, yeah, until the next ripening. He's happy now, and then the guys outside they're always trying to find a way to contact the man inside. If they could get him to leave the village with his dick still attached, everybody gets their penis back. But you know how hard it's gonna get. No matter what notes you slip him, no matter what signs you can write runes on little rocks and shit. Why would he ever leave the village? I'm the only man here with a penis. Why would I go outside the gates? They're like, bro,
right.
Trust me. Listen, step outside the gates, and we'll change the world. I don't give a fuck about changing the world. What are you talking about? Yeah, that'd be a good. Yeah, that's a good, like, the magic spell. If he ever actually leaves the gates of society with the penis still attached to him, everybody gets theirs back.
Everybody gets their dicks back.
It's gonna be raping and pillaging.
And then the rapes begin.
Oh, and then there's a wall. Then they become like the White Walkers.
Oh my God, the cock walkers. The pipe walkers. We're coming, bro. We're coming. We're just
and that's
blind.
how patriarchy started.
Right.
That's
Oh my
that's
God.
like some ancient mythological folklore
That
on
is
Yeah.
the
like the
true
origin.
story of man.
Yep. Women.
Right,
Women
right.
started this whole shit.
Yep, on another planet that was very industrious, and women were sexually liberated and ruled with an iron fist
Yep.
and iron shears, pruning shears.
Oh my
They was chopping
God.
off dicks, and then to even I just love to see that visual of just like a dick and some dirt, and you see the human body budding and
Forming around.
flowering, right?
It's like a little embryo on the
It's a
back
little
of a big ass.
sprout. And then it only becomes conscious
Oh.
like it grows into peak sexuality. Like it's always like a 22-year-old, you know? And it's just a dude that's gonna run through them, and they grow a new one every time.
Damn.
It's a dick plant. It's an alien dick plant because it was only women, and then they found this magical dick. That's their origins, and it's a dick that grows. That's where the origin of men. And when men, one guy eventually got coerced, he got talked into it. He was the savior. He was their hero. We'll come up with some deity name. I don't know, like Baal or something. I don't know. Like you work it into the real mythology that's already here. And you're like, yeah, this was how that god got created. And so eventually they became the cockwalkers, and that was the first raping and pillaging.
Yeah.
And then they
Phallus.
ran off.
They prayed
They
to the
ran,
god Phallus.
and then they ran off with the spaceships and landed on Earth and started anew. And that's how patriarchy was established right from the get-go.
Yeah. Because he knew what women would do if ever given the opportunity.
Oh
So
yeah.
we have to subdue them. Trust me, brothers. Trust me. Like, but women, they have to be equal rights. They're autonomous beings. He's like, shut your stupid mouth. You have
You don't know
no
what
idea.
the fuck you're talking
You
about.
have no idea what these beasts will do if left unattended.
And the worst fate is they all, at the end of the day, all they really want to do is rule and cut dicks off. They want to rule and cut dicks off, and the whole planet is unhappy.
Damn.
Even though they got exactly what
They
they
got
planted,
exactly
they
what
cut
they
the
want.
dick off every year at the ceremony. No, they never get it to like, no, you're not meeting our needs.
You're not good enough. No, you're
No,
not
but
good
I'm.
enough. You're not good
But
enough.
you
You'll never be
genetically
good enough.
engineered me to do everything that you wanted. Like you grew me. Yeah, but I guess it just wasn't what I wanted. I
Because
thought it was, but
you have to think. You have to think. If they groom this man to be some sexual beast, at some point the man doesn't want to hear him talk afterward. He's like, "That's not what I was made for. I wasn't
No,
made for to listen to y'all talk."
You don't have to ever buck their system. All you have to do is be exactly what they want you to be, and that makes you what they don't want. Guaranteed. She'll be like, look, I need you to be softer and more in touch with your feminine side. And then you cry during a movie. She's like, hack him off the dick.
Right.
He cried.
yo,
The fuck is this?
The Jesus of that story is the dude that just starts not giving a fuck. No, bitch, it ain't happening like that. No, but Charles, please, bitch, unhand me. And he just starts being a fucking pimp out, and then all the dickless dudes on the outskirts is like, Charles, he's the one. He's the
one.
chosen one.
He's the
He's
one.
standing up to these bitches. And it starts off, so then they're like, well, fuck, we kind of don't want to put him for the ripening. I don't know why. Did he rough you up too? Yeah, he roughed me up. He tuned me up good. I don't know if I want him in the ripening. And he's just a complete asshole.
Yeah.
Even the dudes without the dicks are a little appalled, like, oh my God. It's like, listen, Roger, he has to be this way. This is how he'll save us.
Yeah.
And they have a whole religion devoted to him.
He used their magic against them. That's the origin of the fuck boy. He turned their magic against them. He did the exact opposite of what they claimed they wanted, and it made him more desirable. All the people who did what they wanted got hacked off their own dicks and thrown outside the gates. That's
Hacked
it.
off of their own dick.
I don't know what we solved here, but we solved something.
We sure as fuck did. Oh, that was amazing. That was an amazing trip. I'm gonna have to. Yeah, I think this is gonna be one of those. Shout out to Cumtown, because every time I think about taking clips from old episodes of the podcast, I'm like, dude, these Cumtown guys, they take clips of the goofiest conversations, and that's the shit that pops it off. So yeah, this one might need to be a bite-sized piece that we deliver to the world, and see who's the first person to start the graphic novel. This shit's amazing. I love it. That was absolutely beautiful. the origin of the fuck boy, praying to the god Phallus, getting hacked off your own dick, all of it, just perfect. It's flawless, absolutely flawless. But man, I'm gonna wrap it up. I appreciate you brothers making time to mind this absurdity on this lovely day and find me some grub and a cold drink. Figure out a good movie. Oh, I saw a good movie the other night. If y'all got time to watch, it's called Nobody. It has Bob Odenkirk in it, the homie from. I used to watch him back in the day on Mr. Show with Bob and David, and then also Saul Goodman from Breaking Bad and Better Call Saul. Excellent movie. Dope,
Oh, I know what you're talking about. Action
dope
movie.
commentary. Yeah, action movie. I think it was super well shot. Everything about it I loved. A good commentary on what masculinity is and just the drudgery of daily life. It's like a lot of good points in there, and it's not overly explained or exposition. It's just something you kind of feel and absorb while you watch it. I think especially as a man, you're going to pick up on a lot of the undertones in the movie. So that was a dope flick. So definitely watch Nobody if y'all get the chance. That might be one we can go through with a full length commentary. It was pretty fire.
Yeah, can we do the commentary with OBS?
Yeah, yep. I think you might. I got to figure out how to share the screen in a way that you could all see it live with me, other than through the Skype. Because once you start sharing too many things from too many sources, it gets laggy a little bit.
Ah, got you.
But I think we could play it. I share my screen in Skype. We all watch it, and the commentary would all be streaming live on the YouTube through OBS.
But you could play it with YouTube and use Skype for our heads. So we could just watch it on YouTube.
Right. Yeah, so we'll figure it out. I've been doing research on that. I'm like gathering up as much as I can right now. It's fairly simple to use, but there's a lot of aspects. So I'm looking forward to getting better at it.
We have to be like high as fuck. I don't want to like just do sober commentary.
Oh yeah, go for it. Go for it. I'm sure I'm gonna have me a glass of wine and a spliff or something like that. Maybe a micro dose. Who knows? But yeah, we can set it up. We might want to start with something more extreme, like Doobie was suggesting, just to bring in some eyes. Because no, it's a good movie, but we might want to start with something a little bit more over the top. But I'm down. Anytime y'all want to commit to watching it, I'm down. Let's get ready. Let's get it cracking.
Yo, just let me know.
Absolutely. Y'all enjoy the rest of the evening, brothers. I'll talk to you soon.
Boys, be
always
safe.
A pleasure, gentlemen. Peace.
Yeah, man. Peace.
Metaphysics is going to have to be the quote-unquote religion of tomorrow. If it isn't, you're fucked. Totally and absolutely.